night, but the Niners are ready for a cross-country fight. You better sit back, strap in, and hold tight. It's always full throttle on Monday night. Come on and hit it. Come on and get ready. Here we go, baby. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. It's a Super Bowl season. We're gonna rock it. Players at the ready. Al and John at the mic. All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night.
San Francisco, the city by the bay, and the site of tonight's matchup of two first-place teams. The NFC West-leading 49ers are ready to host the NFC East-leading Philadelphia Eagles, who now face the immediate future without their fallen superstar.
It's Philadelphia Eagle football without Donovan McNabb, and that's something that none of us wanted to ever see. You know, he's the pulse, he's the heart and soul of our football team. Tonight, we move on without him.
We know what everybody is out there thinking. They're thinking that we can't get it done without Donovan. As men, we want to try to prove everybody wrong.
Tonight, we're going to respond. Starts with number 5 and 81.
Number 5 is quarterback Jeff Garcia, and 81 is Terrell Owens, his primary target. These two Pro Bowlers key the potent 49er offense.
We want to be a team that's going to be a playoff team every single year, a team that's going to be striving for a Super Bowl championship. It's a big-time game. It's Monday Night Football. We need to get after it.
You never know what's going to come out of a Monday Night Football game, especially dealing with me. Good luck.
On this 25th night of November, there's only one word to describe the weather in San Francisco: balmy. They play the Pro Bowl in weather like this. It's just perfect. Sold out at this 42-year-old facility on Candlestick Point, as out onto the field come the San Francisco 49ers, ready to take on the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. Al Michaels with John Madden and Melissa Stark. Welcome to San Francisco, where a new era, at least temporarily, begins for the Eagles. It's week 1 AD. After Donovan, McNabb out with a broken ankle, probably out for the rest of the regular season. They hope to have him back for the playoffs if they make it that far. So right now it becomes Koy Detmer's team. He makes his 7th NFL start tonight in this, his 6th season with Philadelphia. Meanwhile, the 49ers on top in the NFC West with a mark of 7-3. Got a big break yesterday when the Rams lost to Washington, and right now the 49ers are thinking about home field advantage in the playoffs. John, first, the Eagles. The conventional wisdom seems to be McNabb is out, so if the running game is good and the defense is good, that's enough. Is it enough?
No, that's not enough. Koy Detmer has to play, because if you rely on the running game and say that they're just going to run, then you become one-dimensional, and that's what the defense wants you to do. So then they start getting 8 men in the box, and to get rid of that, Koy Detmer is going to have to make some throws. If the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win tonight, the running game won't be enough, the defense won't be enough, the special teams won't be enough. They need Koy Detmer to make some plays.
Well, the 49ers playing very well offensively, playing very well defensively, but blew a 10-point lead last week to San Diego because of Jose Cortez, the kicker, so they make a change there tonight.
Now they make a change there, and they're going to have the rookie Jeff Chandler kicking tonight for the first time, and I was watching the pregame warm-ups, and he's nervous as heck. But, you know, when you talk to the 49er players, they always worry about the fourth quarter. You know, they said that we play well in the first half, and then the third quarter we're okay. And we don't have that instinct to put teams away, and that's when we get in trouble. And I know that Jeff Garcia feels that way. Terrell Owens feels that way. And I think Steve Mariucci is starting to feel that way, and I don't think we're going to see that much anymore, where they start to get a lead in that fourth quarter and set on it anymore.
Good matchup tonight. One of these teams goes to 8-3. Monday Night Football. From San Francisco, the Eagles against the 49ers. Monday night, Dre Bly missed an opportunity for an interception and punished himself last week. Will Terrell Owens punish the Eagles tonight? Might Deuce Staley punish the 49ers tonight? Great matchup by the Bay. Philly and San Fran on Monday night.
Of the National Football League.
Crowd still filing in. Rush hour here in San Francisco. 49ers and the Eagles. Steve Mariucci in his 6th season as the 49er coach on the field with Melissa Stark. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Al. Well, in 2 of their 3 losses this season, the 49ers have given up a double-digit lead in the 4th quarter, including last week at San Diego. Steve, as you head into this playoff run, what have you emphasized to the team about finishing games?
Well, obviously, you like to score more points in the 4th quarter and keep the opponents out of the end zone. It's just simply finishing games the way we start them.
Koy Detmer, not nearly the running threat that Donovan McNabb is. How does that change what you can do defensively?
Well, first, if Koy's anything like his brother Ty, I know he's going to make good decisions and be very steady and well prepared. We practiced against their offense. They're a very good rushing team, as you know, and very good on defense. And you simply have to practice against their scheme and their philosophy and their concepts, not just the quarterback.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right, Al, well, you cannot overstate the importance of tonight's game as it relates to the NFC playoff picture. The winner will be 1 game behind the Buccaneers for the best record and home field advantage.
The Bucs are 9-2. As you look at Andy Reid, he and Mariucci were on the same staff at Green Bay in the mid-90s as assistant coaches under Mike Holmgren. Reid now in his 4th year as the head man in Philadelphia, and one of the best in the league, David Akers, to kick off as the 49ers will start with the football. Jimmy Williams dropping back along with Paul Smith for the 49ers, and here we go on a 64-degree night from San Francisco. Williams from the 3-yard line. Out past the 20. And the 49ers will set up shop on the 26-yard line, and there's a penalty on the first play of the game. Dick Hantak is the referee tonight. '49ers wearing throwback uniforms tonight.
During the return, number 18, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's James Jordan, just activated off the practice squad. So he makes an immediate impact, albeit a negative one.
You know, that's one area, you know, we talk about the offense and the defense. There's one area that the Eagles really do have the upper hand, and that's in the area of the special teams. The Eagles have good special teamers, and the 49ers really don't.
Talked about it at the top where it cost them last week's game as Garcia retreats on first down. And then goes out to the safety valve, and that's Fred Beasley having a Pro Bowl type of season out of the backfield at fullback to the 30 as we take a look at the San Fran offense.
Jeff Garcia, San Jose State. Garrison Hurst, the one and only Georgia.
Fred Beasley, Auburn.
Terrell Owens, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
Ty Streets, Michigan.
Justin Swift, Kansas State.
Derek Deese, USC.
Eric Heitman, Stanford.
Jeremy Newberry, Cal Berkeley.
Ron Stone, Boston College.
Scott Gregg, Montana.
Scott Gregg at 6'8", 315. Keep an eye on Deese on the left side. It was hurt last week. The rookie Heitman as Hurst takes it, turns the corner, and gets out for a gain of 8 to the 38-yard line behind a Derek Deese block.
And you were just talking about Derek Deese coming off an injury. And watch him on Hugh Douglas. On this first play, he's going to be right here, and he gets out there. He gets that left leg out there, gets him hooked. Now, as long as you can keep your outside leg outside of him, then you have him hooked. And then when you get him hooked, then you're giving that corner to your running back. Derek Deese really didn't practice all day. He was out there Saturday a little. And he's an amazing guy.
289, that's as light as you'll see a left tackle in the league these days as Garcia slings it over the middle, and somehow it is dropped by Terrell Owens. Perhaps thinking about looking upfield before he looks it into his hands, so a rare drop for 81.
You know, he will do this once in a while, though. You know, he's a competitor, and he has a whole heck of a lot of adrenaline in it. And early in his career, early in games, he used to drop quite a few of them.
But over the last couple of years, not very many. And of course, the most dangerous thing about him is what he does after the catch, and perhaps thinking about it a little too early there as he goes in motion to the inside. On 3rd down and 3, pressure is put on, but Garcia, who does that so well, looking for all the world like, hate to say it for Philly fans, Donovan McNabb picking up the first down.
Yeah, and that's the thing that the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, Jim Johnson, was worried about. He said, if we're going to play good defense against this 49er offense, we have to play good third down defense. He said we have to pressure him, and this is a big advantage on third down, is Jeff Garcia running the ball. I mean, you have Terrell Owens, you have Ty Streets, you have J.J. Stokes, but this guy running with the ball is an extra dimension.
And that is why the 49ers come into the game leading the league and converting on third down, as they did there, and Garcia throws, and that's incomplete. As we take a look now at the Philadelphia defense.
Brandon Whiting, California.
Corey Simon, Florida State.
Darwin Walker, Tennessee.
Hugh Douglas, Central State University.
S. Barber, University of Richmond, VA.
LeVon Kirkland, Clemson.
Carlos Emmons, Arkansas State University.
Troy Vincent, Wisconsin.
Blaine Bishop, Old School.
Brian Dawkins, Clemson.
Bobby Taylor, Notre Dame.
Great secondary. Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator, loves to blitz. On 2nd and 10 here, they give the ball to Garrison Hurst, and he's straight ahead for a gain of 2, setting up third down.
You know, and Jim Johnson said the whole key to defense is going to be the third down. He said they can play them on defense on 1st and 2nd down. He said, but the success of their defense tonight is going to be the success of their defense on third down.
3rd and 8, Garcia on third down this season, off the charts. I mean, his pass rating is 133.1. He has 11 touchdowns on third down, no interceptions. He just ran for a first down on third. Here he retreats, a short drop, sets up, throws deep, and then overthrows Owens, who got in a step. And then Bishop comes over at the end, so the 49ers are forced to punt off their first series.
I think they're working on Al Harris there. Al Harris is a nickel back. And when he comes in, they move Bobby Taylor to the slot, and they put Al Harris at the right corner. And I know that's one of the things the 49ers think that they can get is Terrell Owens on Al Harris in a big play tonight.
Brian Mitchell back to receive the Jason Baker punt. Short kick. Mitchell lets it go, and it takes a great 49er bounce. Mitchell couldn't get up far enough to make the fair catch, and so the 49ers get a break here as it rolls down to the 11-yard line. 3 minutes, 15 seconds into the game. Here comes Detmer and the Philadelphia Eagles for the first time tonight. All is being brought to you by Madden NFL 2003. From EA Sports, it's In the Game. Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Cold down easy. Pizza Hut. Go deep with the new Chicago deep dish only at Pizza Hut. And Cadillac. Bold vehicles defying convention. Koy Detmer is the kind of guy that defies convention, and it's his team right now on first down, and a most inglorious beginning for him as he stumbles and then is forced to be sacked at the 2-yard line by Andre Carter.
What a start. You talk about adrenaline and you talk about nerves and getting your first start. Watch Troy Detmer here. I mean, he just comes and he goes to set with his right foot, and it just slides right out from under him. Look at that. I mean, he just gets back there and just has about 3 or 4 wobbles, then takes about 2 hits.
Now, this field can be treacherous, but not on a night like tonight. It's perfect. 2nd and 18.
And now the Eagles are jumping in there. They're going backwards faster than they went forward on the return.
The good news is half the distance is only a yard.
Offense, number 74, penalized half the distance to the goal line. Still 2nd down.
And you really can't get penalized into the end zone. But the thing that you have to watch out for, if you do have a penalty in the end zone, you have to watch out down here for holding, because if you have a penalty in the end zone, that's a 2-point safety.
The 2-0 San Francisco. That was 71 Mayberry, not 74. And then there's action again, and Detmer is certain this time it's the 49ers encroaching. Bryant Young looked to be the first guy to move, the 49er defensive tackle.
Doesn't look like anyone in this game is used to Koy Detmer, obviously.
Defense, number 97, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
You know, Koy Detmer, we talked about him. This is his 6th year with the Eagles. I mean, he's not just a brand new guy. I mean, he has all those tricks. And I think he got him with a little head bob there. Did you see that? When Bryant Young, just before he moved, Koy Detmer bobbed his head and gave him a little hard count.
2nd down and 14 from the 6-yard line. They give it to Deuce Staley on the ground. He picks up 3, gets to the 9. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia offense.
Koy Detmer, Colorado. Deuce Staley, South Carolina. Cecil Martin, Wisconsin.
Todd Pinkston, the University of Southern Mississippi.
James Thrash, Missouri Southern.
Chad Lewis, BYU. Trey Thomas, Florida State.
John Wellborn, University of California.
Hank Fraley, Robert Morris.
Jermaine Mayberry, Texas A&M Kingsville.
John Runyon, Michigan.
2 excellent tackles. Thomas went to the Pro Bowl last year. Runyon singled out by Andy Reid last night for having a great year. 3rd down and 11 from the 9-yard line. Detmer throws, and that's incomplete. He tried to go to the tight end, Chad Lewis, and it's Julian Peterson, the linebacker, covering on the play. So not a dream start for Detmer and the Eagles.
No, you think of his dreams and, you know, how you're going to start, and you visualize and all those things they talk about. And I'm sure that Koy Detmer didn't have a few of those things in his visuals.
Sean Landeta, at the age of 40, soon to be the oldest punter in the history of the National Football League. A couple of more weeks to be older than Mike Horan when he kicked at Denver. And Landeta's kick is a good angled kick. Beautiful. Line of scrimmage was the 11, and he kicks it all the way down to the 49 or 35-yard line. So a 55-yard boot. They'll spot it at the 36 for San Francisco. Coverage provided by Southwest Airlines. You can see all of the lights, all of the traffic. The ingress and egress here not the greatest, and that's the reason we have a lot of empty seats at the moment. People are still getting to the game in rush hour in San Francisco. On 1st and 10, Owens makes the catch. Always dangerous after the catch, but not that time, as the Eagles, collectively led by Kirkland and Taylor, knock him down.
You know, and that's one of the things that this Eagle defense knows, that, you know, eliminate those yards after the catch, or just keep them down, because Terrell Owens is going to catch passes. Now you have to swarm him, and you have to get a whole bunch of white jerseys on him and get him to the ground. Sometimes that's a lot easier said than done, but that time you see that the gang tackling 3 guys on Terrell Owens, taking him to the ground.
63 catches this season for Owens, averaging about 14.5 yards per catch. That's big. And a great play made in the backfield by Sean Barber, who came over to the Eagles this season, made a big splash on opening day with 3 takeaways against Tennessee, making the tackle here.
You know, and they were talking about 3rd down and how their 3rd down defense, you know, is a big key to this. And I think a big key to that is on 1st and 2nd down. You know, getting a play like Sean Barber just made there, where you get penetration, you throw them for a loss, and that what that does is create a 3rd and long situation.
From the shotgun, 3rd down and 7. First, with Garcia in the backfield, stays in to block. Garcia throws to the right side, and it is incomplete. Up at the 45-yard line, intended for J.J. Stokes, covered on the play by Troy Vincent.
You know, and over on the other side, Al Harris was man-to-man over there on Terrell Owens, and you just knew that Owens wanted the ball on that play, because he's been looking for Al Harris, and he's been wanting to get singled up on him, and he got it on that play. But Jeff Garcia got forced to the away side. He got flushed to his right.
Brian Mitchell back to receive the kick. Baker punting for the 2nd time. His first kick was 43 yards. Again, a short line drive kick, and Mitchell, one of the best run back men of all time, brings it back out to the 36-yard line with 8:14 remaining in the opening period in San Francisco. Eagles nothing, 49ers nothing. Philadelphia has the ball for the 2nd time tonight from the 35, of course, minus Donovan McNabb. Played on a broken ankle last week, which was detected after the game, and as you can see, since the year 2000, McNabb would rank 1st, Garcia 2nd, Peyton Manning 3rd, highest percentage of team touchdowns by passing or rushing. And a lot of people, of course, John, have said that McNabb is more valuable to his team than any player in the league is to any other team.
Well, I mean, he would be one of the guys. You know, you have to say Brett Favre in Green Bay, and there's 4 or 5 guys in that category.
They gave the ball on an end around to Brian Westbrook, who actually was flanked out to the right, and the rookie out of Villanova up to the 39-yard line. McNabb last week, in what has been described as a heroic performance, was injured on the 3rd play of the game against Arizona. Not only hurt on this play, gave up the football on the turnover. They put him on the table, then wrapped up his ankle. Everybody thought, of course, Detmer would come in. The next thing you know, he's throwing for 4 touchdowns in the first half. 2nd and 6, and Detmer throws, and the pass a little underthrown. Thrash couldn't make the play and drops it as this secondary was able to get back to help break it up with Mike Rump, the rookie from Miami there, 24.
Yeah, and that's what everyone does when they bring Mike Rump in. He's the nickel back, the 5th defensive back, and anytime they bring him in, every team goes right to work on him. And that wasn't a bad pass. I mean, that's right there. Thrash has to make that catch. And it's in his hands, and as he goes down, it just rolls right out of there. That was a good throw by Coy Detmer.
Slightly underthrown, but should have caught it. 3rd down and 6. As Detmer throws again, and this time he's right on the money to the angular Todd Pinkston, who makes the catch and moves them deep into 49er territory. And again over Mike Rump.
And it's against Mike Rump, and they tried it on with Thrash, and they go back. They put Pinkston over here on the side and the see. Now Thrash, if you're going to be up there on that guy, you're going to be square, you have to bump him. You see, he puts his hands up and out, and then you get that step or two right off the line of scrimmage, and you have it all the way. And Coy Detmer can see it and just put it right over Rump's head, right into Pinkston's hands.
32-yard gain. The ball at the 29-yard line on 1st down. Detmer rolling, and then throws that one away with 7 minutes to go in the first. John, there's been a lot of talk this week about McNabb last week, and should Andy Reid have taken him out? Should the Eagles have x-rayed him? And Andy was telling us last night, he said Donovan's over there laughing and joking. He says it's just a sprain. He said he wasn't going to come out of the game.
Yeah, and, you know, it would be easy to second guess and to say, oh, yeah, I mean, they should have done this. They should have taken him out. They should have. But I say this, if I were Andy Reid, I would have done the same thing. If a player tells me he can still play and it's Donovan McNabb, he's still going to play.
2nd down and 10. Staley flagged down. There was movement up front before the snap, or just at it.
I tell you, if I were these Eagles, I would get in 3 wide receivers, which brings the 49ers into nickel defense. I'd get Mike Rump out there at that corner, and I would continue to work on him all the way down the field because they have something going pretty good there.
Illegal shift or motion against Philadelphia.
Illegal motion. The running back turned upfield prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Reid minus McNabb, and in McNabb's 48 career starts, the Eagles have won 31, and in the last 48 starts by other QBs, as you can see, the Eagles win less than 1 out of 3. But it's Detmer's team now, probably for the balance of the regular season, at least. 2nd and 15 as Detmer throws, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Pinkston. Let's take a look at the 49er defensive 11.
Chike O'Keefe, Purdue.
Bryant Young, Notre Dame.
Dana Stubblefield, Kansas.
Andre Carter, California. Julian Peterson, Michigan State.
Derek Smith, Arizona State.
Jeff Ulbrich, Hawaii.
Ahmed Plummer, Ohio State.
Tony Parrish, Washington. Ronnie Hurd, Mississippi.
Jason Webster, Texas A&M.
And that defense facing a 3rd and 15 right now. Dorsey Levens is in the backfield. 3 wideouts to the right. Detmer gets good protection and throws underneath. And the catch is made by Antonio Freeman, the longtime former Packer, but only to the 31-yard line. And now you're looking at about a 48 or 49-yard field goal attempt by David Akers. And he doesn't miss very often. In fact, just 1 miss this season, a 50-yarder in the Monday night game against the Giants in October.
And I think that's exactly what Coy Detmer did there. He knew he couldn't get a 1st down, but he tried to get into field goal range, and he just got into field goal range.
Detmer is the holder, and Akers' kick is no good. And the real downside to that is it comes back to the spot. So the 49ers get it at their own 38. No score. Thanksgiving weekend coming up, and Friday, the day after Thanksgiving at noon Eastern time, Texas A&M against Texas. And then following that, Colorado, number 15 against Nebraska. On ABC Sports, doubleheader coming your way Friday. From the 38-yard line, 49ers have the ball for the third time, and they give the ball to Hurst, who picks up about 7. Garrison, all over the papers this week, made some injudicious remarks in the aftermath of Esther Tuaolo, the former player, coming out saying he was gay. Hurst was asked if he would play with a gay player, said to a writer from the Fresno Bee, made some comments which somehow took 3 weeks to get back to the Bay Area, became a huge story here. Not a big story nationally, but Hurst had to apologize. The 49ers had a press conference, and the only guy who was happy about the whole thing was Jose Cortez, the kicker, who blew last week's game because it got his name out of the paper. Until then, it was all about Cortez. Here's Hurst again, picking up a couple to the 46-yard line, and Levon Kirkland makes the tackle. Hurst coming back after, as you look at Cortez, and he lost his job at least for the week to Jeff Chandler. Cortez missed what would have been a game-winning field goal against the Raiders about 3 weeks ago, then came back to kick the game-winning field goal in overtime, and then last week missed a 41-yarder at San Diego. And his reward is a warm-up jacket tonight.
Well, and you can see his other reward is the pressure off him. I mean, he just looks very relieved.
3rd down and 1, and that pass is incomplete, so they go deep on 3rd and 1 to Owens, and he's covered by Troy Vincent.
You know, that's a great time to get the deep ones, though. I think, you know, you can't wait for the 3rd and longs to throw deep. I think you have to throw deep on first downs, and I think you have to throw deep on short yardage. This is a great situation. Now here they're going against their best corner. I mean, Troy Vincent is the best corner, but you see exactly that Terrell Owens got him, and he got him by a step. I mean, he is so big and he's so strong, and Terrell Owens has gotten faster.
Jason Baker to punt. Brian Mitchell back to receive the kick. Fair catch call for it, made by Brian at the 10. So we played a little over 10 minutes, and we've already had 5 punts in the game. No score in San Francisco. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, John Ritter and his family on a new 8 Simple Rules. And then on Thanksgiving Day, Jim Belushi with a special Thanksgiving according to Jim right here on ABC. 3rd possession for the Eagles in a scoreless game, and they begin by giving the ball straight up the middle to number 22, the appropriately named Deuce Staley, who picks up 4 to the 14. Koy Detmer, out of the ordinary, a guy who's been around for a number of years, drafted by the Eagles in 1997. John, travels very light.
Very, very lightly. He just brings a toothbrush and his playbook. That's the only thing. And he says he puts a toothbrush in the playbook. He had a baseball cap on backwards and a long shirt and a pair of pants, and that was it.
Here's Levens. Picks up 3. So just the 2 items, and he told us why.
I hate that feeling of you go someplace and you worry about, well, did I forget this? Did I leave that? You know, next thing you know, you've lost something or left a bag somewhere. And I just don't like having that feeling. I just like to be able to go, and I know I got my book, my toothbrush, and I'm ready to go. And then after the game, just throw the book in the box. They take that for me, and then I'm hands-free.
So tonight, just with a toothbrush, does he travel back to Philadelphia on the red eye?
And he said, if you don't bring it, you can't forget it.
This is Thrash. And he picks up a first down, taking it up to the 29-yard line. So a real good call on 3rd down, tackled by Ronnie Hurd, gain of 12, first down.
You know, when they lose it, Donovan McNabb, and he's so valuable, not only throwing the ball, quarterbacking this team. They're also running the ball. You have to find other guys, and it's not just your running backs, Deuce Staley or Dorsey Levens. You have to have plays like this, reverses, wide receivers carrying the ball. These kinds of things that will make up a little bit for Donovan McNabb running the ball.
1st and 10. Detmer is 2 out of 6 for 36 yards as he goes to the air here. And that pass is incomplete. A little high on Chad Lewis, a little bit more on Koy Detmer. Let's go to Melissa.
Well, Al, he is very proud of the fact that before each season he goes to Target and he buys an entire outfit all the way down to the shoes and the socks for under $100. And then he wears that same outfit to every game. And I asked him about the shoes last night. He said they were the cheapest part. They were $13.99. He said he just likes to keep it simple. And guess what? He's got 2 kids. His wife's name is Katie. He's got 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The kids' names are Koy and Katie. The big dilemma, they've got another child, a boy, on the way due in February. What will they name him?
On 2nd down here, he hits Chad Lewis. So one of the rare guys here, John, who doesn't know what it's like to ever have to check baggage.
Well, and I'm the same way. I don't check
That's right.
You just go on the bus, you just throw stuff in it. But I accumulate a lot of stuff. But Koy Detmer does have another. I mean, his brother, Ty Detmer's in the league. His dad, Sonny Detmer, is a famous high school coach down in Texas, and he's a guy that started both Ty and Koy.
Ty, the number 3 quarterback at Detroit, won the Heisman when he was at Brigham Young. And Detmer escaping, throws on the run, hits Pinkston, run out of bounds by Webster. So Detmer able to avoid the sack. It was Chike O'Keefer who almost got him down behind the line of scrimmage, picks up the 1st down.
And you can just see that he's starting to get a little more confidence now. You play in the first play that he starts, he goes back there and he flops down. And now he gets the rushes, and he's putting the rushes on the side, and he's kind of making jump passes and doing things that say, holy moly, that looks a little like Donovan McNabb out there.
Eagles,
not really.
Yes, well, Eagles have run 15 plays, only 5 runs. This will be number 16, the 11th pass attempt, and that's completed to Chad Lewis, a couple of yards shy of the 1st down. So they stripped the first 15 plays, and 5 of them were runs and 10 of them were passes.
Yeah, so that's, they want to get, Koy Detmer comfortable here, and that's a good part of the script. You know what you're going to do, and you tell the quarterback, and he rehearses it and knows it. The bad part of it is they found something here with 3 wide receivers and Mike Rump, and they had to get away from that to stay with their script.
2nd and 2, and they give it to Staley, and Deuce gets outside and picks up the 1st down behind a Cecil Martin block. So here is Detmer against Garcia. Everybody for all the world thinking, well, the Eagles will have to win with defense in the running game. Right now, they've outgained the 49ers in the period, 83 yards to 43.
I'm a little confused on this, and I bet you Deuce Staley's confused because at home, when he runs the ball, they give that Deuce. And here they were giving. Now I don't know if they're booing the 49er defense or if they are saying Deuce here in San Francisco.
Little combo planter. Dorsey Levens in the backfield on 1st and 10. They give it to Levens up the middle, and Levens will end the first period with a 7-yard gain at the 36. So the Eagles are on the move. We played 15 in San Francisco. It's the Eagles nothing, the 49ers nothing, and Monday Night Football resumes after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Aerial coverage provided by Southwest Airlines. There's the Bay Bridge, and we'll go across that bridge next week because we'll go to Oakland for Monday Night Football. A week from tonight, the Jets and the Raiders, 2 hot teams next week. Al Michaels, John Madden, Melissa Stark in San Francisco. This drive continues for Philadelphia on a 2nd and 3 to open the 2nd quarter, and Deuce Staley will move the chains as he takes it down to the 27. They've gone 10 plays on this drive that started at their own 10-yard line.
You were talking to Deuce Staley last night, and he said that, and this is so true, and more true of running backs, I think, than any other position. After they come back from an injury, that first year is very tough on them. But if they can get through that first year, then the second year is when they get back to normal. And Deuce Staley is closely getting back to normal.
He had a foot injury, said he was on crutches for 6 months, and Brian Westbrook takes it to the 25. The irony, too, here, John, is that when at least in the offseason, Correll Buckhalter, they felt, would be their running back, but then he tore his knee up. As you look at Deuce's first 5 games this season, and then over the last 5 games, 468 yards, and of course he had that big night on the Monday night against the New York Giants at Veterans Stadium. 2nd down and 7. And it's underthrown, but adjusting and making the catch and getting into the end zone is Todd Pinkston for the touchdown. 25 yards to cap a 90-yard drive.
You can see Todd Pinkston. He's on Jason Webster here. And you're right, that ball is going to be thrown a little short. You see, if you can get by the guy and then get him turning and running, you can just throw the ball up there. Jason Webster didn't see the ball at all. Ty Detmer could see it. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I mean, Coy Detmer could see it, but I'm not sure exactly what he was doing.
Neither do I. He did it in a game against Brett Favre and the Packers years ago, and then Favre answered with his own response. But in the meantime, he celebrates, and why not? His Eagles have just taken a 7-0 lead early in the second. 90 yards. Detmer hitting Pinkston for the touchdown. Now kickoff. Akers Blue fielded 6-yard line by Jimmy Williams. Good coverage by the Eagles to knock him down at the 18. Go back to the touchdown here.
You know, one of the things the 49ers thought is they want to play an inside technique because they don't think that Coy Detmer has a strong arm. So what they want to do is play inside and force the receivers to the outside, thinking that he can't throw the outs. But the thing that he can do is throw the up. And that's exactly what he does out here. You can just see up here in the top. See, now, if you're going to get up there, if you're going to get on him, you have to hit him. And if you don't hit him, then you get turned like that, and Coy Detmer was just able to throw the ball up there in a jump ball.
Now the 49ers trailing on 1st down. Kevin Barlow in the game at running back. Pass outside by Owens, and 3 Eagles converge as Terrell Owens makes the catch underneath. Owens tonight has now caught 2 for 7 as we take a look at the numbers through the first period. Total yards 90-43 as the Eagles with 90 yards on that drive.
Doesn't this crowd seem a little flat?
Very.
And the 49er team seem a little flat?
Late arriving crowd because of the rush hour traffic, and really still not into it. 2nd down and 7. And you're right, John, as Barlow is stopped for no gain, the crowd very much reflective of the way the 49ers have played through the first 17 minutes of the game.
Yeah, we talked about the distractions the 49ers had this week, and you know, and the other distraction is Donovan McNabb being out. And you think, oh boy, we don't have to play against McNabb. They're going to play with Coy Detmer, and he hasn't played, and you know, in all these times, I mean, I don't know, 99 is the last time he played, and he's going to be rusty, and we don't have to worry about. And then you really don't get ready to come out of that locker room, come flying out of there, and play with the aggression that you have to play this game with.
And they've come out flat. They go with 4 wideouts out of the shotgun here on 3rd and 6. Pressure put on, and the catch is made. So they came on the blitz, and then Ty Streets runs a little bit of an out and picks up 12 yards for a 1st down.
And, you know, earlier we said how they were trying to get Terrell Owens on Al Harris, and this time they get Ty Streets on Al Harris. You see, he has his hands down. He just starts it again. He didn't take anything away, and he just let Ty Streets just go straight up the field and work on him. Now watch Jeff Garcia. You talk about a guy that, you know, he only weighs 189 pounds, and he has to get all 189 into every throw he makes.
Each quarterback weighs about 189 as Garrison Hurst is tackled by Levon Kirkland, the longtime Steeler who spent last season with Seattle.
I know there was some talk earlier, you know, how much the Eagles miss Jeremiah Trotter, and we were talking to Jim Johnson last night. He said that Kirkland is really getting more comfortable in this defense. I mean, he's so big, he looks like a nose tackle, but he is really playing the run well. And when you can get him, I mean, someone has to block him. See, you look at him, and he's that close, and he looks like a nose tackle, but you have to count him as a linebacker, and the 49ers on that play didn't get him counted.
2-yard loss, second down and 12. Garcia comes back to the left, and that one is dropped by the tight end, Justin Swift, who gets the start tonight because Eric Johnson, who would be the starter, is still banged up.
You know, one of the things that every time Garcia would run and or bootleg was always to the right. So this is a key breaker here where he's going to fake and bootleg out to his left. And then he has his tight end Justin Swift coming across. But you see, I mean, he never plants his feet when he throws the ball. I mean, he does everything that is probably different from every quarterback in this league. Maybe other than Brett Favre. And Brett Favre is unorthodox, as is Jeff Garcia.
Talk about his prowess on third down. Great numbers, 3rd and 12. Can he convert here? Pass is caught over the middle by Hurst, but he is tackled about 3 yards shy of the first down by Bobby Taylor, and Jason Baker has to come in to punt again, and the crowd gets restless.
Yeah, I know the crowd isn't yelling deuce now.
No way.
Staley was running. I wasn't sure if that was deuce or boo, but that definitely started with a B.
Jason Baker to punt. Well, they're booing because Baker has already punted 3 times, so this is his 4th punt.
Usually the 49ers get off to a great start offensively and then kind of slow down. And tonight they're not getting off to any start offensively.
That's been the case this year. Here's Mitchell fielding on the run at the 25 and into 49ers territory. Gets the last block that he needs, and Brian Mitchell rolls for a touchdown. 76 yards.
That's the advantage that we're talking about, is the Eagles special teams against the 49ers special teams. I think the other key, Al, as you said, Brian Mitchell caught that ball on the run. Watch it. It's a short punt. When you can catch that ball on the run, a little reverse action, not one 49er touched him. I mean, it wasn't any missed tackles. There was no one there to tackle Brian Mitchell. This guy just keeps piling up the yards, doesn't he?
13th year, started as a Redskin. And Akers' kick is good. So a 76-yard run back, and the Eagles, without McNabb, come into San Francisco, and with 10:19 left in the half, lead 14-0.
Are you ready for some football?
From San Francisco, we go across the bay to Oakland next week. Monday Night Football, the Jets, who've won 4 straight. The Raiders have now won 3 in a row. Jets, Raiders, great matchup next week on Monday night. So the Philadelphia Eagles on top after a 90-yard drive and a 76-yard punt return, up by 2 touchdowns as David Akers gets set to kick off. From the 12-yard line, Jimmy Williams comes back this way, gets a nice block up past the 30-yard line and stays inbounds all the way out to the 45-yard line. Brandon Moore throwing the block to Springen. Brian Mitchell has just established a new NFL record, 13 combined kickoff or kick returns for touchdowns, 9 punts, 4 kickoff returns, breaking a tie with Eric Metcalf. So 13 times has he run either a kickoff or a punt back for a touchdown, and before his career is done, he should be the combined yardage leader in the history of the NFL. That's rushing, receiving, and both kickoff and punt returns as Hurst turns the corner for 2.
You know, we talked about the first 15 of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now what the 49ers do is they have 19. Their first 19 plays is their script. And you can see that they ran 8 plays. They passed 11. Of course, they didn't get any points out of it. They threw the ball 5 times to Terrell Owens, and he caught 2. So that's part of the thing. Greg Knapp has on that list there, he has TO plays, so that he's reminded to call plays that are designed to go to Terrell Owens.
Owens has caught only 2 tonight for 7 yards. deep over the middle. He's now caught 3 for a lot more and is finally taken down at the 20, and that gets the rise out of the crowd that the 49ers were looking for. 32 yards.
And maybe it got the rise out of the 49er offensive team, too. They had to get something to get started. And one thing, we're going to see Terrell Owens all over the field. We see him as an outside receiver. We see him as a slot here. Here he just gets by a linebacker and is thrown over the linebacker and right between the 2 deep safeties. And see how he just picked that thing right out of the air? This guy, this Terrell Owens is something special. I mean, he's fun to watch. It's fun to watch play. It's fun to watch practice.
Garcia finding time, throwing, and it's not complete. Ty Streets went down. The ball hit the grass. Bobby Taylor covering, second down.
You know, that's the second time that Jeff Garcia has gone out to his left, and everyone plays him to go out to the right. You know, you kind of contain him to his right side, and you push that backside on him. And this is the second time that he escaped to this side. We can see why. Here's Derek Deese against Hugh Douglas. See, Hugh Douglas gets up the field. Derek Deese just rides him. Hugh Douglas has no idea where Jeff Garcia is, and Garcia just ran right by him.
2nd and 10 from the 21-yard line. Eagles show blitz. Back off. Catch made inside the 15-yard line. It's about 6 yards shy of the first. Justin Swift is the tight end.
That's the thing that Jeff Garcia can do. I mean, we see where he runs out to the left, he runs out to the right, but he will do something that I think only the only other guy that does it is Brett Favre. He will run straight up the middle. He'll scramble right up the middle and throw it.
Eagle injury here. Not quite sure who it is at the moment. With 8:35 to go in the half. Saturday, during the day, it's Miami against Syracuse. Miami trying to remain unbeaten, and then a beauty at night. Most of you will see Notre Dame and USC. Keith Jackson and Dan Fouts will be at the Coliseum. The Irish and the Trojans headlining Saturday night action on ABC. The injured Eagle was the end. Brandon Whiting out of the game, and on 3rd and 2, the ball is caught at the 9-yard line, enough for a first down for Ty Streets.
That's the thing that Garcia can do. He can get that ball out of there so quickly. There's Brandon Whiting, and you can see it's his lower back. He came into the game, and he had a back problem on that last play. He hurt that back, but if you're just a little off, if you just back off a little as a corner, then Jeff Garcia can get that ball out there quickly to his wide receiver in front of you.
1st and goal now. This drive began at the 49er 45. Hurst slip move to the outside, but nowhere to roam, and taken down by Brian Dawkins. 2nd and goal.
Brian Dawkins is like having another linebacker in there. We talk about the 8th man up, the 8th man in the box, that that free hitter. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, it's always Brian Dawkins, because he's a very good safety, but he's very good when he's playing close to the line of scrimmage. And in addition to that, he's an excellent blitzer.
So many quarterbacks for the opposition against the Eagles will say they'll key their call on where Dawkins is when they take a look at the defense on 2nd down and goal. Garcia slipping his way through traffic, taking it to the 3-yard line, turning nothing into something. Tackled by Kirkland.
And it all started again with Hugh Douglas getting up the field, because Garcia starts to scramble to his left. Watch him here, because Douglas gets up, and you see that hole he has out here to the left? He'll start there, get in that hole, and then come back, because that tackle had to leave to take away that hole. See, now it all starts here with Hugh Douglas. He's going to get up the field. Deese just runs him to the outside. Now someone has to take his place inside, and when they do, they vacate the middle.
3rd and goal. It's Owens, bottom of the screen. Starts to the inside. Looking that way. The fade to Owens. He makes the catch. He beats Al Harris for the touchdown.
I tell you, that is great by Terrell Owens. He starts a little short motion. and he just kind of lulls everyone to sleep, and then he goes back out to the left, and Jeff Garcia throws it to him perfectly. Watch Al Harris here, and you see he just started like he was going in motion. Al Harris was playing inside, and Al Harris didn't have a chance on that play. Jeff Garcia sees it immediately and just throws it to the back cone.
Chandler makes his NFL debut with an extra point. Rookie out of Florida. Highest drafted kicker. The 32-yard pass to Owens was the key, setting up the touchdown by Adonis. 14-7 Philadelphia. Conagra Foods Skins game coming up this Saturday. You've got Tiger, you've got Phil Mickelson, Mark O'Meara, and Fred Couples in the Skins game. $1 million stake. Coverage beginning Saturday right here on ABC. Owens with the touchdown. 49ers to kick off. Chandler sends this one into the end zone for a touchback. At halftime, our 7 days to Monday night feature this week will feature that man, Terrell Owens. How's this for one of the outtakes from this piece? Listen.
See, this one we talked about earlier this morning on the Thunder. We make the play here on this one. You got a chance to go a long ways now. Make him miss. It'll be Al Harris.
Oh, I'm going to get Al Harris all I got. I'm talking about dog. He talks so much noise, man. I've seen him, the way his little mannerism on TV when he be playing. He act like he Dion or somebody.
John, if they would have known he would have done that to Harris in the first half, it would have been in the regular piece, not an outtake. Here's Detmer on first down, gunning that one too high and incomplete, intended for Antonio Freeman.
Yeah, and he really got Al Harris on that play, on that touchdown play. We'll see the double box here, and we'll see he's down here in the bottom, and on the right is Jeff Garcia, so you can see the throw and the catch. You see how he starts a little motion here. Al Harris comes way inside, and then he just goes outside, and Garcia sees it immediately and just leads him to that second pylon. As you said, that was one of the things that, you know, we talk about practice and what teams do and what they talk about, and then we see it working again.
Perfectly. 2nd and 10. It's Levens. Dorsey Levens, the longtime Packer, now in his first season here. 3rd down after Owens scores for the 9th time this season on a reception. He's also rushed for 1 touchdown, has Terrell.
And he's something special. I mean, right now, I would say that Terrell Owens, has to be the best wide receiver in football, and a guy that if you were picking a team, you'd want him on your team, and if you were a defensive coordinator, you wouldn't want to be playing against him.
The most dangerous wideout in the league. 3rd down and 9. Detmer throws, and that one is incomplete over the middle into traffic, intended for Antonio Freeman. So quickly, after the Eagles are taking a 14-0 lead, they give up the touchdown, and then it's 3 and out.
Yeah, didn't you just feel that last drive of the 49ers kind of woke up the 49ers, their offense, it kind of woke up their defense, and it definitely woke this crowd up.
And it was Owens who made the key grab on that one before the touchdown on the 32-yarder to convert over the middle. Sean Landeta, 18th year, went to school at Towson State in Maryland to punt. Bartram with the snap. Fielded 33. Williams. And just does get into Eagle territory. Decent run back, 49-yard line. Tackled there by Michael Lewis, and the flag down. Dick Hantak will get ready to make the call.
During the return, number 47, illegal block in the back, 10-yard penalty. First down, San Francisco.
So back they come. We'll take a look in the history of the NFL. Most seasons with 13 or more touchdown receptions. Of course, it's Jerry Rice now across the bay, and we'll see him next week. And then Owens, Chris Carter, and Lance with 3 such seasons.
We talk about how tough they are now with Terrell Owens, but just a few years ago, they had both Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice.
From the 27-yard line. There's Owens again. Gets by Dawkins. and then is run out by Kirkland. So he was quiet through the first 20 minutes of the game, but now a 19-yard pickup, and Owens has now caught 5 for 61 yards and a touchdown.
You know, and he just enjoys playing. I mean, he enjoys football. He enjoys the competition. He enjoys getting in there, making plays. Then after he catches a ball, he does this as well as anyone. You know, we talk about how big and strong and fast he is. He's tough to tackle. And then he's out there, he's having fun. He's just laughing at someone.
From the 46-yard line on first down, Garcia again. Beasley couldn't handle it. Covered by Dawkins. What you used to call it, what, yak, John? Yards after catch?
Yards after catch and rack run after catch. But, you know, the thing, and the 49ers do that so well, and I think that, you know, it all kind of started when Joe Montana was here throwing to Jerry Rice. I mean, they would throw those little 3-yard passes, and you look at them, it'd be 15 or 20-yard passes because of the run after the catch.
Under the watchful eye, of course, of Bill Walsh, who's here tonight, still very much involved in the 49er organization. And because of Bill Walsh, Jeff Garcia gets a chance to play in the NFL. Undrafted, played in Canada, and then Walsh saw something that nobody else did, and taking the handoff as Barlow. Saw Bill before the game, and I said, what in the world did you see that nobody else saw in Garcia? And the first thing he said, he had instinct. I just knew he had the instinct. I knew he had the mobility. And Bill saw him when Jeff was playing at San Jose State, and Bill, after leaving the 49ers, was coaching at Stanford.
Well, yeah, and Bill saw it, and I have to confess I didn't see it. I mean, I went to a practice when Jeff Garcia was in a mini camp, and Bill Walsh says, take a look at him and tell me what you think. He's the worst practice player I've ever seen. I thought he couldn't play, but Bill didn't ask me after the practice.
So Bill and Terry Donahue, the GM, up in the box on 3rd and 13. That pass is incomplete. Intended for Ty Streets, but the pressure put on the corner blitz that time. Forcing the issue was Bobby Taylor. And Dawkins comes back and needs attention.
And that's the thing we talk about, you know, that third down defense. But again, with Barlow falling down, then that creates a 3rd and more than 10. And those are tough to pick up in any offense.
Now Jason Baker to punt. Brian Mitchell, who ran the last one back 76 yards for a touchdown, sets up inside the 15. Baker this time backing Mitchell up. Brian from the 11 out past the 20 and out to the 26-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will have the ball with 3:42 to the half. Monday Night Football from San Francisco, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Lexus introducing the V8-powered GX. A new kind of adventure begins. Citizen Echo Drive, a revolutionary watch that never needs a battery. And Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up, never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Aerial coverage provided by Southwest Airlines. No more beautiful city to cover from the air than San Francisco, as Goose Staley takes it out to the 28-yard line, where he's tackled by Dana Stubblefield. 3.5 to the half. How the QBs stacking up tonight. Look right there.
I still think the Eagles have something going if they go back to that 3-wide receiver thing, get Mike Rumph out there and hope that they play man-to-man coverage and just work on him, because he doesn't have a lot of confidence coming in, and he can have confidence now in this game.
2nd down and 8, and they're going to give it to Thrash on the end around, and these plays are working beautifully tonight. Second time Thrash has carried, tackled by Ronnie Hurd out near midfield after a pickup of 21 yards.
You know, it was a wrong play for the wrong defense, because they were blitzing their safety. Tony Parrish was blitzing to that safety, to that side, and he ran right into the reverse. Watch him. It's going to come around to the left here, and watch, Parrish is going to be coming right up there, 33. You see him, and they just get right around him. And that's the thing, that if you're coming from a blitz from that side, you also have the containment. And you would think of all the plays that ought to be blown up there is when you blitz into a reverse.
2 carries, 33 yards for Thrash. A ton of time for Detmer. Throws, caught. Staley tackled by Webster at the 46-yard line. Stayed in bounds. Clock keeps ticking. There's the rookie out of Miami. And, of course, so many Miami guys in the league. It's interesting that Rumph is the first guy the 49ers drafted from Miami in 14 years.
And, you know, he's a tall guy. He's a long-legged guy, and he has trouble with his initial quickness and footwork.
2-minute warning. Lexus halftime show is coming up. 7 days to Monday night. All access pass. Terrell Owens.
This is how I beat up on them DBs every Sunday. Yeah, I do the dirty work at night while y'all sleeping.
Would you like to have that body, John? What do you think?
I'd like to borrow it for a day just to walk around in. Hey, look at me. He's flexing all those muscles.
2nd down and 5 from the 46. That is caught by Chad Lewis. And Lewis is able to spring free all the way down to the 26-yard line for a first down.
And don't you just feel that Koy Detmer is getting more and more comfortable here? I mean, the 49ers were coming on a blitz. They were blitzing right into his face, right into his left, and he just throws the ball out there. Watch it. Here's the motion, man. You see the blitz and the pressure coming from that side, and he just throws it right over the blitzer and right into Chad Lewis. That's pretty good.
From the 25-yard line, all 3 timeouts remain. Ball is given to Dorsey Levens. To the 20-yard line he goes.
Well, he didn't follow old Hank Fraley. Old Hank Fraley, the center, he's out there pulling, and Hank Fraley pulls outside, and Dorsey Levens left him.
The jiggle man.
The jiggle man. Old Deuce Staley was telling us last night, can you believe he weighs 320 pounds? We have a 320-pound center. Can you believe that? He said he jiggles so much, and he said he'll be running and stop running, and he keeps jiggling.
2nd and 6. Good protection underneath. Deuce. Staley takes it inside the 15. That moves the chains with 70 seconds to go. And again, the Eagles with all of their timeouts.
And we talked about Koy Detmer, his older brother, Ty, so he followed him, his dad being a coach. And I think Andy Reid said he probably knows this offense as well as anyone.
Each 7 and 3 meeting on Monday night as we wrap up the 12th week of the NFL season.
And you always talk about momentum and how, you know, the Eagles had it early and then the 49ers had that last drive and it looked like they were getting it, and the Eagles came right back with this drive.
From the 14, they flip it back. Brian Westbrook, who has thrown a touchdown pass this season. So when he threatens to throw, sometimes he means it, and he's out of bounds at the 12-yard line.
Andy Reid was telling us last night that Brian Westbrook comes in with 4 wide receivers and special plays. You see, and this is a form of the college option where he kind of puts Deuce Staley and Westbrook in the same backfield and kind of fakes to Staley and then pitches out like a college option to Westbrook.
But Barry Switzer was back at Oklahoma. We were in Norman.
That's where they got that play. They stole it out of Barry Switzer's book.
Now Detmer has to take a timeout. That's the 2nd, so the Eagles are now down to 1 with 59 seconds remaining in the first half. So everybody in Philadelphia with their heart in their throat after the game last Sunday when the X-rays revealed that McNabb would be gone with a broken ankle for probably the rest of the regular season. But Detmer and the Eagles and Brian Mitchell, of course, playing a big role tonight. Up by 7 with 59 seconds left in the half. Now, by the way, Donovan McNabb not traveling with the team because they want to make sure that the healing process moves along, celebrating tonight, and I'm sure he's looking in. Happy birthday, number 26, to Donovan McNabb.
Happy birthday, and to a great player. And I would bet that he's back before the end of the season. And Andy Reid was saying last night that he's going to be able to start rehabbing in 2 weeks, and just the kind of guy he is and the competitor he is, I just believe that this isn't going to be a 2-month thing.
Well, that was unbelievable last week to break it on the 3rd play of the game and then have the game he had. 2nd down and 7. And that pass is caught, and backing into the end zone is Antonio Freeman for the touchdown. 11 yards after they took the timeout.
Well, they know where to go to work. I mean, they found that out in the first quarter that you want to get him in that nickel and you want to get Mike Rumph in there because after you beat him a couple times like this, he can't have confidence. And you just put the old veteran Antonio Freeman, and he just ran a simple slant, got inside, and Koy Detmer hit him perfectly.
David Akers out of Detmer's hold, and Detmer's been the longtime holder. So Detmer, a full-service quarterback tonight. Throws the touchdown, holds for the extra point, 21-7.
Well, that's what Mike Rumph is doing. He's back here, and he has terrible technique. He's looking into the backfield. He really doesn't get his hands up there, and he doesn't move his feet at all. I mean, he just lets Antonio Freeman get inside. Now, Koy Detmer knows once he gets a step inside, you can throw to that next window. You see, he looks there, he sees that he has a step, and he just pumps it right in there. But again, watch here, and you see how Mike Rumph didn't move his feet at all. I mean, he was just like stationary back there, waiting to see what bad was going to happen to him.
Didn't have to wait long.
No, but when you have any corner, if you're going to be a corner in this league, if you're going to be a corner in any league, you have to have a short memory or no memory. I mean, if you have a bad play, you have to forget about it and go on to the next one. I think Mike Rumph has been thinking about those first ones way too much.
And how do you expunge all of this from your mind before the second half?
Well, what Jim Mora is going to have to do is, if he continues to play him, he's going to have to play more zone, because anytime the Eagles can get him in a man situation, they're going to throw to that guy.
David Akers to put it in the air. Jimmy Williams back to return it for San Francisco. Short kick, 18-yard line is where Williams takes it. He takes it to the 33. We have 50 seconds remaining, and the 49ers have all of their timeouts as you look at defensive coordinator Jim Mora.
And he knows that he has a problem, and that was early in the season. They were having a problem on their third down defense and their nickel because of Mike Rumph, and they felt that they always had to play zone and play conservative, and people were getting a lot of first downs. And then he thought, now the way, Rumph has been around, now we can play more man-to-man, but now they're getting killed in man-to-man.
Dawkins comes back in at the 33-yard line, first down, out of the shotgun. Garcia, four-man rush, slings it to the outside, staying inbounds is J.J. Stokes up at the 36.
The fans don't like that. They want the ball to go down the field, and I'm sure they want it to go down the field to Terrell Owens.
If nothing else, a timeout at least. They have all three. They're going to wind up leaving a couple on the wall here. Under a half minute, second down and 7. And out of the outside, that's Streets with 25 seconds. Let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, as you mentioned, two-time Pro Bowl safety Brian Dawkins back in the game. He bruised his right eye. His own helmet hit him in the eye. The trainers iced it for about the last 5 minutes, put some drops in it, and back in. And defensive end Brandon Whiting, who, as you mentioned, came into the game with back spasms, has a lower back strain. His return is questionable.
And while he is out, N.D. Kalu will take his spot. There's Dawkins. Third down now for the 49ers, 3rd and 6. And Garcia able to convert, catch made. Owens, 48-yard line, and now they take a timeout. But that's the first timeout on this drive. They have 2 left, but you only have 20 ticks left to begin with.
Yeah, the clock management was terrible on this. I mean, and they threw a couple of short ones. They didn't get the ball up the field, and they didn't use their timeouts. And now they still have 2 timeouts, so they can still get a couple plays in here to get into field goal range. Andy Reid has to be looking at what he's going to do the next time they get the ball, because he calls the plays.
The Eagles with 3 touchdowns in a quarter on the road. First time in over a decade.
How'd you like to be that belt?
Andy Reid's belt. He has more stuff on there than a telephone lineman.
Well, that'd be the definition of going to work, being Andy Reid's belt.
First and 10 from the 47-yard line. Garcia Going deep, contact made. It's incidental, no flag. Intended for Ty Streets, covered by Al Harris.
This is the thing I think that, you know, the
flag
thing that
back at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there is a flag at the line of scrimmage, and the thing that I think they have to do is just keep moving Terrell Owens around and just all the way through 4 quarters, just figure out how to get him the ball.
Offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down, first down.
So their chances of getting even into field goal range are now minimal. So the 49ers got back in it, and Owens provided the spark, and they give up the touchdown, and they look completely out of sorts on what should have been at least a drive to get him into field goal range with all 3 timeouts. And now they're already back at the 37-yard line, 1st and 20. Little screen, Hurst to the 46, but now you're down to maybe 1 play left, and they take a timeout. 4 ticks left.
Yeah, and this is one that you just have to fling it up, and you know one thing, I mean, you just have to hope for a pass interference, because you know that the half can't end on a defensive penalty. So that's kind of the one thing that the 49ers have left, is try and get a defensive penalty.
But the only thing that would do it.
Mike Rumpf has had a tough first half here, and again, they know that you know, you find something like this and you just keep working on it. And again, he's up there square. He's not getting his hands on the defender, and his feet are just getting like they're in concrete. Yeah, and that's the first thing. If you're going to get beaten as a cornerback, the first place you will get beat is with your feet. You know, you'll get your feet in the wrong position, and a guy will get a step or two or a position on you. And Mike Rumpf's feet have not been in good position all night. Nor have his hands.
Right. And his brain is now frazzled as well, and the Eagles were able to exploit it. 3-man rush. Garcia throws over the middle, and that's incomplete. Intended for Eric Johnson, and that will end the half. So the Eagles, without McNabb, come in. The crowd serenading the 49ers with a sound you don't hear very often here. Boos. With a score 21-7. 7 days to Monday night. A look at Terrell Owens this week. BCS standings, Sapp and Sherman aftermath coming up after this message from the NFL and words from our ABC stations.
Destroys a night, night divides a day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, 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 break on through, break on through, break on through, break on through.
Well, if you're just tuning in, there you have it without McNabb. I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Maybe this is according to Hoyle in this the wackiest of NFL seasons, John.
Well, it was the thing that, you know, anytime in this league when you think something's going to happen, it doesn't. Then when you think nothing's going to happen, it does happen.
Second half begins. Chandler's kick fielded at the 3 by Brian Mitchell, who had a 76-yard punt return for a touchdown, bringing this one back out to the 27-yard line. And let's check in what the coaches have to say as we check in with Melissa.
All right, Al, well, it almost goes without saying, but Andy Reid very impressed with the way Koy Detmer has been playing, but he wants him to get into even more of a rhythm in the second half. Defensively, it is all about stopping Terrell Owens. Look for the Eagles to double him in the second half.
Detmer in the first half, Melissa, 10 out of 17, 2 touchdown passes, 127 yards. And Philadelphia able to keep Owens in check except for that one series that resulted in a touchdown as they begin with Deuce Staley up to the 29, tackled by Andre Carter. And let's check out the figures. 30 minutes of play. It would figure the Eagles with the advantage in rushing, passing about even. But you had that Brian Mitchell touchdown return.
Yeah, that's always big. You know, when you sometimes you look at teams, you look at offense against defense, defense against offense, those things, and you forget the special teams. And in a football game, there's a lot of ways to win. There's a lot of ways to score.
Here's Thrash, third time they've run this play. Flag down Out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Todd Pinkston looks like he's going to get caught for holding.
It's one of the things that you want those wide receivers to block, and they have to block downfield. But when you're blocking on a reverse, sometimes the wide receiver's not blocking downfield. He's blocking close to the line of scrimmage, and he has to hold his block, and he literally holds
Number
it.
87, 10-yard penalty. Beat the down. Second down.
What you'd like to do is on that offside of the reverse, the side you're going to end up running, you would like to run that corner off. If that corner stays up there, then it's tough. And you see it's going to be a reverse out here to the right. You'd like that corner to be run off, but when he stays there on that line of scrimmage the way Jason Webster did, it's tough.
2nd and 15, dump it to Levens underneath. Tackled there by Dana Stubblefield.
But the one thing with that reverse and running the reverse is then you can fake the reverse. And the Eagles have a whole package of that, of run a reverse and then fake a reverse and pass, or fake a reverse and hand it off inside. And they had some success running inside on the 49ers by faking the reverse because the reverse had been successful.
3rd down now, 13. Ball at the 25-yard line. Detmer slings it to the outside, caught by Todd Pinkston, tries to get the first down, and is tackled at about the 37-yard line, a little shy of it.
Boy, Detmer has a whip on him. I mean, he's not a big guy, and there's not a lot to him, but in that arm, I mean, some people have, the arm strength, some people have the quick release and all those things. Watch this one. He has a little whip in there. I mean, that thing's whipped out there, and it wasn't enough for the first down, but he throws a pretty good tight spiral and can get it out there.
Sean Landeta. 3rd punt of the night for him. Fair catch called for, made by Jimmy Williams. Niners will have it at their own 24-yard line. Early 3rd quarter. Philadelphia coming in and leading by 14. 49ers in the first half. Garcia with 131 yards. Where the Eagles have also done a very nice job is against the run. Garrison Hurst, 7 carries, 19 yards. The other part of that two-headed running monster they've created, Kevin Barlow, 3 carries for -3. So they've done nothing on the ground. Garcia to the air, hits Owens, makes the catch at the 35, and then gains 10 more after the catch, out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
This was Terrell Owens in the first half, and remember the first ball thrown to him, it wasn't a great start for Terrell Owens, but that was the last one that wasn't a good play. Here he goes straight up the middle. We'll see him on the touchdown play there. He gets inside of Al Harris and then back to the outside. And he just catches that one there. You wonder, sometimes you say, how can Terrell Owens be as open as he was on that last play? Well, it was against the zone.
1st and 10 from the 45. Garcia throws. That's caught by Owens, looking for room. Comes across the field, gets around the corner into Philadelphia territory, and that's the type of thing he does so brilliantly. 11 yards when it looked like he had 0 initially.
Yeah, and they threw it right there. That was a different type of play, but Ty Streets was out there, and just as Owens catches the ball, Ty Streets makes a block. You see Owens, he's going to start out there. You see Streets make the block right there. What they did is they come out and picked off the guy that was going to cover Terrell Owens, threw him the ball out there quickly, and let him reverse it. See Ty Streets right there. He makes the block that springs Terrell Owens.
Owens now over 100 yards tonight as he makes his 8th catch. 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line. Only their 13th rush of the game is a good one, though, for Hurst as they try now to establish something on the ground. He takes it to the 32 off a Derek East block. Go to the field again. Here's Melissa.
Well, Al, Steve Mariucci said in no way were all the distractions this week the reason for the team's poor performance in the first half. But he said, listen, it's simple what we have to do. We cannot abandon the run. We have to be much more efficient in our passing game, and we have to be much more physical. And an injury update on linebacker Derek Smith. He bruised his ribs in the middle of the second quarter, obviously stayed in the game, but he got a pain-killing injection at the half. Something to keep an eye on.
Established that run after 28 yards on the ground in the opening half. Hurst gains 12 here. Ball at the 33-yard line as Garcia slips it to the outside, and Beasley drops that one. Second drop for Fred tonight.
I'll tell you, Fred Beasley did a great job of blocking last week against the San Diego Chargers, and the fact that he's even playing tonight is surprising to me. I was talking to Steve Mariucci last night, and he said, well, he had a concussion, a bad knee, an ankle, and a groin. So that's about the whole body. I mean, that's about the whole thing. Now, when you get into the 12th game, no one feels great. No one is 100%, but I think Fred Beasley's probably playing at about 40%.
That's the superfecta. Doesn't practice much. Not only showing blitz, and then there's action up front over the nose with Corey Simon making contact. DeCantac, I think the first referee in the history of the league, for what it's worth, to have a triple figure number. So I was shocked the first time I saw him.
Defense, number 96, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Referee shouldn't have a number in the hundreds.
Well, that's how, in the old days, you used to be able to tell who the rookies were, because all the veteran officials had double-digit numbers. Sure. And then when a guy would get 3 numbers on a jersey, you knew he was a rookie, so you'd always give him a little extra. And you call him rookie. Then they started putting triple-digit on some veteran receivers, because every coach in the league knew that whole trick about the triple-digit deal.
Been a long time since DeCantac was a rookie. Second down and 5 from the 28-yard line as the catch is made here by J.J. Stokes. And he takes it to the 22-yard line, and that's enough for a first.
One thing, the 49ers, and Steve Mariucci was talking about how they have, 4 points, and they always have to hold the ball, and they really practice on putting that ball away and not letting anyone strip it out. In fact, Steve was telling us last night that he learned from, and in fact it was Dick Bennett, the old basketball coach at Wisconsin. He said he learned that it's not what you teach, it's what you emphasize. He said that's what you become, is what you emphasize. And one of the things that the 49ers really emphasize is holding on to the ball, not getting stripped.
Well, they called it a first down, and it was a first down by the length of the football and a half. Talking about turnovers and protecting the ball, those teams are the only teams with more games played than turnovers. The Giants in '90, that's a Super Bowl year. 16 games, 14 turnovers. Cowboys pulled it off in '98, and the Niners are on that kind of a pace. This is game number 11. Turned it over 9 times in 10 games, and not at all tonight. First and 10, ball at the 22-yard line. Garcia buying time, throwing, and it is not caught inbounds. It is J.J. Stokes. We're talking about those 4 points of pressure. The 49ers have a drill to teach it.
Well, that's your 4 points of pressure. 1, 2, 3, and 4 under here, so it doesn't come out, so it doesn't separate. So you're always trying to slap it out, go and transfer it to the other arm. Keep it down to 4 points of pressure. Slap it down and keep it locked down. Here we go. Kevin Barlow, jump up here. Lock it down, okay? Lock it down. Boom. Okay, switch hands. Riverside. Lock it down. Good. Keep it locked down. Boom. Good.
There's always one in every group. There's always a Kevin Barlow.
Barlow said enough's enough to Rathman. Second and 10 from the 22. Garcia flushed out again. Chase throws that one away. The only question I have, John, is if you're a running back and you're in the heat of battle and all of that, it's like a golf swing. Do you imagine having 4 swing thoughts? You couldn't do it. It's paralysis by analysis.
No.
Can you think about that when you're carrying the ball?
No, it just has to be automatic. You just do it so much that you always tuck it away. And then, of course, you have to run with the ball. I mean, you always don't run protecting the ball if you're out in front. You always have to protect it when you're in position to get hit. I mean, that's a big thing. But did you notice that Tom Rathman used the word Riverside? I don't know where that went. Every coach, since I was in high school, would always say Riverside. That means flop it over. You know where that comes from?
Where?
I don't know.
Third down and 10, where the Niners have excelled this year, but not here. They'll come up well shy. Catch made by Owens, tackled by Dawkins, and that will set up the first field goal attempt of Jeff Chandler's NFL career.
You know, we were talking about Koy Detmer maybe starting, and he was a little nervous. I was watching Jeff Chandler in the pregame warm-ups, and I'll guarantee you he wasn't a little nervous. He was a lot of nervous. I mean, that ball was flying all over the place.
Kick for Steve Spurrier of Florida, picked 4th round, highest drafted kicker, 35-yard attempt. Jason Baker to hold, and his first NFL field goal attempt is good. So he's 1 for 1 on conversions. He gets saluted by Cortez, the man whose job he took, at least temporarily. 11-point lead for Philly. Wednesday here on ABC, Paul McCartney brings the music of the Beatles to life. Celebrate the greatest music of all time. Paul McCartney back in the U.S. ABC Wednesday, 9 Eastern and Pacific, 8 Central and Mountain on Thanksgiving Eve. Chandler's kick fielded by Brian Mitchell from the 12. Out to the 36. Eagles will have it. Detmer coming out. Second possession of the half, 8:58 remaining in the third. 21-10 Philly. Thanksgiving night, my promo copy reads, get ready for the biggest adventure since the Stone Age, when Donatopia, the series, premieres Thursday right here on ABC. Philadelphia from the 36-yard line, first down, up by 11. Detmer slings it to the outside. Pinkston forced out by Webster after a gain of about 7. John, he looks, you know, for a guy who's played so infrequently over the past 6 years, you walk in here and you say this guy's their regular starter.
Well, you know, you always think when you get a backup quarterback that they have to narrow down the playbook or the game plan, and that's not true with Koy Detmer. I mean, he is going to do everything. You see his pass chart in the first half or up till now, and most of his passes are in that line of scrimmage 15 yards deep.
Deuce Staley gets taken down. It'll be 3rd and short upcoming.
You know, he hasn't thrown any screen passes because we have on that chart, you know, behind the line of scrimmage. So behind the line of scrimmage would be a screen pass, and usually the Eagles do throw a lot of screen passes. And again, most of his passes were in that area between the line of scrimmage. Right here, the line of scrimmage, then 15 yards deep. Although he did have the 2 big ones back there, 2 for 4 on that left side.
Touchdown passes to Pinkston and Freeman. 3rd and 2 to the outside. Nice catch by the tight end Chad Lewis, who has been kind of a forgotten man this season. Reaches back, moves the chains here at the 48.
You know, the left tackle, Trey Thomas, has been doing a good job over there on Andre Carter, their speed rusher, because that helps create the lane to throw. And you see in that left side, it was Trey Thomas. He rides Andre Carter to the outside, and then Koy Detmer can not only step up, but find a throwing lane and a visual lane.
Lewis, last 2 Pro Bowls, tight end. This time they go back in that direction to Pinkston. Pinkston able to break a tackle as he got away from Webster and picks up the first, or close to it.
And he better watch himself. You know, I mean, that can come very, very close. When you throw the ball like that and there's a guy down, that can be very, very close to taunting. But I tell you, these Eagle receivers are doing a good job of getting open and then getting a little run after catch themselves. And they kind of have that 49er defense, especially the secondary, back on their heels a little. They don't know whether to come up and play them tight and aggressive or to play back off, because whatever they do, the Eagles seem to be getting to them.
Pinkston on his way to a triple-figure night, 94 yards and receptions. And they keep going to that side one more time to Antonio Freeman. So they hit Lewis out there. Then they go to Pinkston out there. Now they go to Freeman out there.
You know, one of the things all the Eagles talked about with Koy Detmer starting, that their offensive line had to do a job. They had to give them protection. They had to give them time. And I'll tell you, their protection has been excellent tonight. Watch Trey Thomas out there. He starts on Andre Carter, passes him off to the inside, and then really creates good passing lanes for Koy Detmer.
2nd and 7 from the 38-yard line. Fake to Staley. That buys a lot of time. Going deep, and it is caught by Thrash. And the back judge checking with the side judge. Neither has signaled touchdown, and they're going to spot it apparently inside the 1.
Yeah, they pointed right there. They have their foot in front of the goal line, so they're going to spot the ball right in front of the goal line.
On the field, the receiver is short of the goal line.
Here's James Thrash. He's just running a post pattern right down the middle, splitting both safeties. And you see Ronnie Hurd came in there, and he doesn't get his hand up. You see, he tries to get that left hand over, and he can't do it. If he does the right hand, it's going to be pass interference, and the left hand just can't reach out there enough.
And Andy Reid, I thought for a moment, might consider a challenge. We've seen nothing that would put him into the end zone. They'll just take a timeout. They take a standard timeout. And it's a funny thing. If you're Andy Reid here, you might as well challenge, because if you're going to take a timeout and you lose the challenge, so it costs you a timeout. I mean, the only thing that would
cost
mitigate,
you a challenge,
right?
too.
It would cost you one challenge. You still have one
may
left.
want to save the challenge, but none of these things are automatic. I mean, I remember this game here 2 years ago, or 1 year ago, and the Eagles got down, and in fact, it was that goal line there. It wasn't this goal line here, but they got down there, and the 49ers stopped them 6 straight plays. So this isn't an automatic thing. You think, oh, yeah, well, don't worry about challenge or touchdown. We'll just get it in there. A year ago, they got down there and didn't get it in on 6 tries. And it was one of the great goal line stands. I mean, it was one of the in the history of the 49ers.
Detmer with a red-hot hand, 11 straight completions, and he's going to take it in himself. And no signal yet. Looked like he had the thrust, and he did. Touchdown.
He's not celebrating the way he did that first one. He did that whip thing. This one here is just kind of calmed down a little. What you want to do is you get right in behind your center, big old Hank Fraley. We see Fraley here. He gets the block, and Detmer just goes right over his right shoulder. This is what it looked like from the umpire's position. You see Detmer, the first thing you do is you get up to get over, and then you get right down. Get up, over, and then right down.
Akers converts after the first touchdown of Koy Detmer's career. Set up by the long pass to Thrash inside the 1, and the Eagles are up by 18 in San Francisco. Jeff Lurie watching his team up by 18 points, 28-10 here in San Francisco, with Akers kicking off, and the Niners with Jimmy Williams running it back from the 6-yard line. Out past the 20. Taking it to the 32-yard line with 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Detmer and the Eagles up 28-10. Monday Night Football pre-Thanksgiving brought to you by Budweiser, brewed fresh in America. Touchstone Pictures, The Hot Chick, coming soon to theaters everywhere. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers. And Chrysler, drive equals love. John, you're going to be home for Thanksgiving. I can't believe it.
I know where I'm going to be on Thanksgiving. I just wonder where those turkeys are going to be for Thanksgiving.
I have a feeling I know. Kevin Barlow. Well, John, for years at CBS and Fox, it became a tradition, the turkey leg and all of that. And you brought to the knowledge of America the turducken, and so our friends at the Four Seasons cooked you a turducken.
Oh,
there it is.
What that is?
I think it's a turducken.
It is a turducken, but I got to show you how to. I can't show you. I need fresh turducken. I'm going to have crazy turducken. But anyway, here's how you slice it. See, a lot of people don't know this. You have to slice it down the middle. See, and then you slice it across this way, because what it is, it's chicken stuffed in a deboned duck, stuffed in a deboned turkey, with dressing between the chicken and the duck and the duck and the turkey. So as you cut down that way, you go turkey, dressing, duck, dressing, chicken.
You know, one of the great things about your coming over here is I'm able to ask you all of these questions, because for a lot of years I thought a turducken was some sort of a foul crossbreed. But it's not.
Well,
it's just three different things.
Yeah. Well, it's really 5 different things. It's a chicken, a duck, a turkey, and 2 kinds of dressings.
And are you going to have one on your Thanksgiving table?
Yeah, I'm going to have one. I have to bring it though, but you know, because here's
Here
a
it is.
here's a picture of one.
Turducken.
Yeah,
Picture. That is it.
And you see, you cut it like right down here. See, and then this is what it looks like inside. See, so you got turkey, then duck, and then dressing, and then chicken.
Oh.
And then you just have to do it that way, or if any of that makes sense.
Now, can I get some hoisin sauce with that? That's unbelievable.
You know, the first time I ever had one of these, I ate it with my fingers, and then I had to shake hands, and I didn't know whether.
Stay away from me. 2nd and 7. That pass is incomplete. Kevin Barlow was shaken up and assisted back to the bench, and they work on him.
We talk about the things that the Eagles have done. I got crazy turducken all over the place. But you talk about things that the Eagles have done. I mean, you know, and Koy Detmer and offensively, and you know, and all that stuff. But their defense has done a great job against the run of the 49ers, and then they're kind of making them one-dimensional here.
Niners have carried for only 40 yards tonight, and they've rushed the ball 13 times. They had the 112-yarder by Hurst, and apart from that, nothing. 3rd and 7, and then there's a bad snap in the shotgun. All the way back to the 10 is Garcia, and Garcia is able to get it away to avoid the sack at the 9-yard line.
And he can do that because he's outside the tackle box. He can throw the ball away, and then it'll go back to the original line of scrimmage. You see Jeremy Newberry, the center there, he has a broken right finger.
They're going to throw a flag, by the way, here, because you have to at least get it back toward the original line of scrimmage, and they didn't even come close.
Yeah, that's a good point, because he does get outside the tackle box.
Offense number 5. Loss of down. 4th down.
He can throw it away, but he can't. He has to get it back to the original line of scrimmage. Here's Newberry's finger. You can see that this is a broken one right here, so he taped these two together. Last time he had a cast on there, and he had a snap left-handed. This is the second time he broke the finger, and this time he decided to go without the cast. And, of course, he snapped one at 12 o'clock.
So it's 4th and 33 as they punt out of the end zone with Jason Baker. Low angle kick, flag down because Baker went down. It rolls dead at the 48, and N.D. Kalu ran into him.
But there's no way that can be a first down.
It's holding to begin with, and the flag is not on Kalu as Hantak signals holding against San Francisco.
Holding. Offense number 27. Penalized half the distance to the goal line. Repeat the down. 4th down.
Paul Smith doing the holding.
Yeah, Paul Smith is the protector right back here. You're going to see him. He's right here. And you watch right here. You see he gets a little pressure right up the middle. His guy gets by him, and he just grabs him with his right arm, number 27 right there.
Well, you saw Kalu come in, and it looked, at least the body language would indicate running into the kicker. Good acting job there by Baker, but not good enough to win an Oscar. 4th down and 37. High floating kick. Fair caught by Mitchell at the 49er 41-yard line. So Philadelphia dominating now with 4:30 remaining in the 3rd.
You know, we said earlier that, Koy Detmer has to make plays tonight. And he made plays. I mean, it's not all about being able to run and play defense and special teams. Koy Detmer stepped up, and he made the passes and the plays that he had to. And, of course, he also made a touchdown right there by a quarterback sneak. You talk about guys rising to the occasion. He is doing it.
They get the Rams at home next week, and there goes Deuce Staley. Good, hard running. Picks up the 1st down, and that is a combo Deuce and a Boo here.
I think the 49ers, that whole thing, we talked about them being flat. I think they started out flat, and then they had a little blip in their flatness, but they've kind of gone back to the flatness. I'll tell you, this group here of the Eagles, this offensive line, has really handled the line of scrimmage tonight. I mean, not only in the running game, but in pass protection, and that's where it all starts. I mean, you have to win that battle, and that was a big part of this game. The group that wins that battle will probably win the game. So far, the Eagles have won that battle at the line of scrimmage.
Ronnie Hurd is shaken up, and Ronnie Hurd is getting the start these days because of the injury to Zach Bronson. The last time the 49ers were involved in a Monday night game at Seattle a month and a half back.
You know, and I'll say this, I think that the 49er defense is not playing as well as they were when they had Zach Bronson. That's a big miss. And that, you know, every time I ever saw the 49er defense, Zach Bronson would come up with a big play. And one of the things that he did so well, he was a very good tackler. And I think that the 49er defense tonight is missing a tackler, or maybe missing a whole bunch of tacklers.
Bronson breaking his foot against Seattle. Further injury update. Let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, 49ers running back Kevin Barlow, their third-round draft choice last year out of Pittsburgh, who was helped off the field just moments ago, sprained his left knee. The trainers say that it locked up on him. His return is questionable, and wide receiver J.J. Stokes dislocated his left middle finger. He is expected to return.
Barlow tonight has been limited to 3 carries -3. Stokes 2 carries or 2 receptions for 8 yards. And here's what happened to Hurd.
I don't know what happened to Hurd other than Deuce Staley just ran right through him. But did you see it on that shot there, Kevin Barlow? You see he had one of those stem things on where you get stimulation on your muscle without having to do anything, where his leg was shaking. They call that, I think they call it stim. The stim machine. If you look down, you can see it. See it moving? Or maybe that's just his right leg bouncing. Either his right leg's bouncing or he's getting stim.
In either case, he doesn't look like a guy who's about ready to return as John Keith comes into the game at safety, third-year man out of Furman, and Detmer goes deep, and that pass is broken up by Webster, intended for Pinkston.
Yeah, we're talking to Jim Moore, the defensive coordinator of the 49ers, and he said, we want to put the game in Coy Detmer's hand. We're going to take away the inside and make him throw the ball to the outside, and if they're going to beat us, he's going to have to beat us. And I will say this, Coy Detmer is doing it. I mean, they've played that inside technique, and instead of running outs and comebacks, what they're doing is they're running those go routes.
119.3 pass rating for Detmer tonight. On 2nd down and 10. Fakes it to Staley. Buys time. Perfect throw. Caught. Jeff Thomason, the number 2 tight end, taking it to the 6-yard line.
And Coy Detmer's hurt.
Ooh. Detmer goes down at the end of the play, and he is really shaken. The backup to him, and there he is A.J. Feely.
You know, he just got hit, whatever that was, Alan. Both of his legs just started to shake.
Oof. After he gets the pass away, he gets leveled. Here it is.
Watch out. Both those legs just started shaking as he went down. Yeah, he's holding his left arm is what he's doing. It has nothing to do with the legs. Watch, it's his left arm. So he just grabbed that, and that was just a lower body reaction.
And he's still moving those legs right now. Because of obviously the intense pain.
So it has to be the left arm.
Yep. Sure is. Oh, yeah. Came down awkwardly. And I'm not feeling for a guy. I mean, here he comes in. He's got all the pressure in the world on him. He's having a magnificent night. And then this crazy injury to be taken down in that manner. And it's the left arm that goes underneath and
contorts. And every player in the team was saying how much they like Koy Detmer, that, you know, he's a backup quarterback, but one of the most popular guys on the team. And you could just feel that. I mean, the whole team, you can see half the Eagles team is out on the field right now. I mean, this is something that this guy has come through from, and he's been with them, and they love and respect him.
And they're going to have to bring the card out. Oh, you just never get used to a sight like this.
No, and you know, it's a part of football that no one wants. I mean, you know, obviously your teammates, your opponents, coaches, fans. There's no one that wants to see this. You play hard and you compete and you want to get a guy down, but when the guy gets down, you want him to get up.
And Andy Reid just doing everything he can now just to maintain his cool. He watches McNabb go down last week. He watches Detmer here. He goes to A.J. Feely now is going to be the quarterback, and that's a great sign there as Koy gets up. And they're going to make him get on the cart. And here come the Eagles to a man. Look at this scene. Coming to the middle of the field, and even some of the 49ers as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is respect for a guy that went out there and kind of an underdog and, you know, undersized backup quarterback, hasn't played, but went out there tonight and played his guts out.
Until 3 minutes ago, it was a beautiful story. Comes off the bench, never gets to play, spent 6 years with the team. People wondering, you know, whether the Eagles turns in that kind of a performance, and at least his night comes to an end like this. So into the game now comes A.J. Feely, who's the only other quarterback on the roster. If they had to go to somebody behind Feely, it would be Brian Mitchell, who played it in college, has quarterbacked some during his illustrious NFL career, but he's the backup as of the moment.
And he did take some snaps too. We talked to the Eagles last night, and they said that you know, he'll take some scout play snaps. So Brian Mitchell will be ready to go.
Feely played a lot in the last regular season game last year at Tampa Bay and played well. First and goal from the 6 now. They give it to Staley behind Martin. He tries to turn it back and gets taken down at the 7-yard line. So McNabb is out probably through the end of the regular season, at least close to it. They say 6 to 8 weeks, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. We'll get the report as soon as we can, obviously, on Detmer. Now you've got Feely. They brought Matt Hasselbeck's brother in last week, and they put him on the practice team. Jeff Lurie watching his team in a bittersweet moment, up by 18. Second and goal from the 7. That's lofted to the end zone and batted away, spun away by Jason Webster on the pass intended for Pinkston, and there's a flag down.
Yeah, they found something out there that they just want to throw that ball up there. We talked about Rumph, but they've also gotten Jason Webster.
Defense number 36. The foul took place in the end zone by rule. It'll be placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
Here's Pinkston right here. Here's Jason Webster. He's in the outside again. He takes away the inside, which they've been doing all the way, but he really doesn't get turned around. He has that contact before he gets turned while the ball's in the air.
That makes it first down and goal now from the 1. And Feely's going to throw. Touchdown. So everything in the playbook stays the same. It doesn't matter who's in there. Chad Lewis.
And at some point you have to say that this offense is a pretty well coached offense. And I think when you can do it and you can interchange and you can change parts and you can still be efficient like this offense is, that somewhere you have to give credit to the coaches, not only the head coach Andy Reid, but to his offensive assistants.
Brett Childress, the offensive coordinator. You would think for sure you go to the third quarterback, you run it in from the one. Akers for the point after. Chad Lewis will now hold because not only are they missing Detmer, the quarterback, but Detmer, the holder.
It was also. So Chad Lewis had to go hold after he makes a touchdown. And you see, here's Chad Lewis here, and he's going to work his way through. In fact, he's a little late off the ball, and there's about 4 49ers there. He goes down on the ground, and this happens an awful lot. Sometimes you plan it that way where a guy will go down and get up. I don't think this was planned. I mean, he just gets knocked down. Then as he gets up, everyone loses him, and Feely finds him. Then he gets to celebrate, and then he gets to hold.
And the Eagles have come storming into San Francisco and lead 35-10. Update now on Detmer. Melissa, what do you know?
Well, Al, we all saw the emotional scene down here when he went down and was carted off the field. Official word from the team, he has a dislocated left elbow. He's inside the locker room right now, and they're trying to stabilize it. But what an unbelievably gutsy performance from him tonight.
Just tremendous. I mean, it was just a beautiful story. Forget being a fan of any team. I mean, this was a phenomenal story. Coming in for McNabb, performing the way he did. 18 of 26, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns for Detmer, now the dislocated elbow.
You know, and just talking to him last night, I mean, he's different, but he's a refreshing different. He's a fun different.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's just a football guy. His dad's a football coach. His brother's a pro football player, and football's just been all of his life.
This is Jimmy Williams. Yeah, I'm reminded, you know, it's that old thing about, remember the show What's My Line with John Daly? I mean, if you saw Detmer walking down the street, you know, what are you? I'm a quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what he said last night. And you look at him, and there was no way that, you know, there's not enough of them there. I mean, they say 195 pounds. He doesn't weigh 195 pounds. And, you know, he has skinny arms and legs, and he doesn't have a body or anything. But he's just one of those guys that knows how to play the game. I mean, just watching him play tonight, you know that he's a gamer. Jeff Garcia is a gamer, though, too.
Instinct. 1st and 10, 32-yard line. And that's caught by Hurst. He takes it out to the 41. You know, we began the game, Melissa, talking about if the Niners win, they'd be the number 2 seed. And it's the same thing for the Eagles. There's the playoff picture at the moment. Bucks on top, of course. They're the number 1 seed of the season ended tonight. The Packers are 8-3, but the winner of this game, whether it's the Eagles or 49ers, would move into that second position. They'd, at the moment, each of them would own the tiebreaker over Green Bay. As the catch is made out here by Street. So if the Eagles win, they have the same record as Green Bay, but if the season were to end tonight, Philadelphia would be the number 2 seed, get the bye.
But I'm sure that Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles are thinking right now about their quarterback situation. And I mean, at some point, you know, you can coach them up, you can get guys ready. But
Garcia throws. That's caught by Ty Streets to the 38-yard line.
And you always need a quarterback in this league, and a quarterback has to perform like a pro. And that was what we said earlier in the game, that, you know, it just can't be about running and defense. It has to be about the quarterback, and Koy Detmer has to make plays, and he did.
Niners down by 25, so go without a huddle. And 1st and 10, and that is caught by Vincent, intercepted by Troy Vincent, but Street said, I got interfered with, and the flag goes down.
But if that was interference, that was a heck of a catch by Troy Vincent. To, you know, usually guys play defense because they can't catch, and they'll knock the ball down
Interference.
most of the time.
Defense, number 23, 1st down.
But to be able to cover like that, get that tight, and make that catch was a pretty good play by Troy Vincent. See, here he is right here. You see him, he's running, he's reading the quarterback, and they're trying to run a stop and go on him. And he didn't go for the stop at all. He was just waiting right there for Ty Street. I don't know that that's not a bad call. I don't know that Ty Streets didn't run into him.
I know it. Vincent's playing the ball, too. Here's Garcia going to the end zone, and that is caught for the touchdown by Owens. So they get a good break on the interference call, march right down the field. Owens makes his second touchdown reception of the night, and it's 35-16 going on one more.
That's Terrell Owens here. You see, this is against the zone. We saw him earlier against Harris, but this one isn't against Al Harris. He starts to the inside, gets on the safety, and then runs a corner pattern. This is a thing that they do so well is move Terrell Owens around so that you don't know exactly where he is or how to defend him.
Got by Blaine Bishop on that outside move. Extra point is good. Owens single-handedly trying to rally the troops right now with 1:01 remaining in the third. I'm sure Owens had something planned for a touchdown grab tonight, but you know what? At least he has the presence of mind to know you're down by 18 points. You don't goof around.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I mean, that if he gets 3 or 4 more of those tonight on the third or fourth one, we may see it. Here we see Terrell Owens. He's the outside guy here, and you see they have a little bunch going. And see how it's a zone, the corner, here's the safety here, and he gets right in behind him. He gets, behind the corner and in front of that safety. They're trying to play a form of cover 2, corner up, safety deep, and Terrell Owens just split him.
Well, he loves to give footballs away, signed or unsigned. 10 touchdown receptions for him, second in the league to Hines Ward of Pittsburgh with 11.
I know what he's saying. There's still plenty of football left to be played here, and there's plenty more touchdowns where that one came from.
And that one came in a hurry. And there goes Kevin Barlow. The other half of the running tandem done for the night, so it's all Garrison Hurst from here on out, but mainly it'll be passing from here on out.
I think passing, speed up offense, no huddle, all those kinds of things for the 49ers. Slow down pace for the Eagles.
That drive took only a minute 40. Mitchell from the 10. And Brian Mitchell, who ran one back earlier, 76 yards off a punt, takes this one back to the 33-yard line.
What a weapon Brian Mitchell is. And he always has been. Wherever he's played, he's a weapon. Yeah, we see him here as a kickoff return. We saw him earlier on a punt return. The first thing you want to do is get the ball, get it coming upfield. That's a relatively short kick on the 10-yard line. Get into the wedge right there and then break it. And then once you get through the middle, then you can work to the outside. But you don't go to the outside first. You get right up to your wedge. Here's a wedge right here. And you want to bring the ball and get right up into your wedge. Keep it up the middle. Good blocks there. And then when you get up into the middle, then you can break it out.
57-yard run back, and they went to the well once too often with that play as Thrash gets taken down for a big loss by Julian Peterson.
I think they finally figured that out, that they're going to continue to run that reverse action. In fact, James Thrash, I think, is their leading rusher.
Or was up until that rush.
Up until that play. Because that's been the package. If we look at it, running the reverse, that they not only run it, but they would fake it. Here you see a run with the fake of a reverse. And here's another one. You run the ball, but you fake the reverse. And then here you hand on the reverse.
Now it's second down on 18, and this is Antonio Freeman making the catch, taking it to the 34-yard line. It'll set up a 3rd and 11 as the period ends. Philadelphia on top, but it's a costly third quarter for them with Detmer back in the locker room. 35-17 Eagles, end of 3 in San Francisco. And Monday Night Football resumes after this from our ABC stations. Start the fourth. A reminder, ESPN with SportsCenter following the game as we come back to San Francisco. Al Michaels, John Madden, Melissa Stark. Philly up by 18, 3rd and 10 Philadelphia from the 49er 33 on the first play of the final period. Feely to the outside. That's caught by Thrash, bumped out of bounds by Plummer. Line of scrimmage will be the 25, meaning it's about a 43-yard field goal attempt upcoming for David Akers.
And that's exactly what Feely did. I don't know that they have a lot of plays for, to get the ball up 12 or 15 yards, but they can get it up closer for the field goal.
Chad Lewis has to hold again. Remember, with Detmer gone, they're missing a guy Akers thinks is a phenomenal holder. But Lewis does his job just as well as Detmer, puts it down, and he bangs it through right down the middle from 43 yards. Early in the fourth, Philadelphia extends its lead to 21.
To the house, take it 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 to the house.
Eagles trying to take a win to the house, a win to their house back in Pennsylvania. Up by 21 is Jimmy Williams. Takes it out to the 26, flag down.
We talked about how this crowd has kind of been flat, and the 49ers have been flat. I mean, it's carried over. I thought they started slow. I thought the 49ers were starting slow, but then
illegal block in the back during the return. Number 24, 10-yard penalty. First down.
Then they've had a couple blips where they looked like they were going to get things going, and then they would go right back to looking like they were flat again.
I wonder, John, if you're the 49ers, I mean, Philadelphia's coming in. It's going to be a big game. But then last week, you're a 49er. You hear that McNabb got hurt. So isn't it the first thought, well, hey, they're coming in. They're wounded. We'll take care of them?
Yeah, I think that. And then I think even combined with a Ram loss yesterday. I mean, I think that, it's given so much separation in their division that all those things maybe made them too comfortable.
Garcia. And he goes down as he's ridden down by Darwin Walker.
Darwin Walker is a guy that's really come along for this team. I mean, he's been something in the middle. Remember they gave him a new contract, and he came in and he started out in preseason playing well, and then he started out early in the season playing well, and he's just become a pretty big part of this Eagle defense.
And that is a live football. And speaking of Walker, as if on cue, the ball is extracted from Garcia. It's Sean Barber, who hadn't had a takeaway since opening day when he had 3, is able to dislodge the ball. Walker picks it up, and the Eagles are inside the 5.
Yeah, watch Sean Barber. He comes from the left, and he comes free there, and he hits Jeff Garcia just as he's throwing the ball. This will be one of those things. Was his arm going forward? That looks like the old tuck rule, doesn't it?
It sure does, and I'm sure Mariucci will exercise his option here and challenge the call.
What happened is they picked up the outside rusher and didn't pick up Sean Barber. And he's going to come right in there from Jeff Garcia's right. Yep, that was a tuck rule. That's the thing. The arm is coming forward, and he's bringing it back in the tuck. He's trying to tuck it. That's exactly what it is.
That's a real tuck. Mariucci with a challenge, and Steve has had more success than almost any coach in the league in his challenges.
To me, I mean, I know it's a tuck, but I think they got to change that. I mean, to me, a guy comes on a blitz, he hit the quarterback, he made the quarterback fumble, the Eagles recovered fumble. That's a fumble.
John, my feeling is they would have changed it this offseason, except if you changed it, what you're basically saying is, you know what? It was a bad call. It was a bad deal for the Raiders last year in the New England game. So if they're going to give it another year and then change it.
I agree with you 100%. If they couldn't do it, it would have tarnished what the New England Patriots did. But it's just adding to this. I mean, now we have to have a play like this, and And by rule, the tuck rule, the 49ers will get the ball back. Because if that in New England was a tuck rule or was the Patriots ball, this is the 49ers ball.
Yeah, I mean, this was an actual attempt to tuck the ball back away.
What would he be writing?
I have no idea.
You think he's adding things up? He underlined something.
He had a par on 8, a bogey on 9, 43 on the front. I have no clue. He's probably marking off a timeout.
Play. The quarterback was in a throwing motion. He lost the ball while throwing the ball. It is an incomplete pass. It will be 3rd down and 9 at the 16-yard line.
Yep. The 49ers got one in the old tuck rule. But even the 49ers had left the field. I mean, the 49er defense was out there. Now they come back. And again, because of last year, they had to say that is a tuck rule and that is not a fumble. And in the history of football, though, that's always been a fumble.
In this particular case, they're actually ruling that he was attempting to throw the ball, the arms coming forward, and so they turn it over for that reason. And we come back to 3rd and 9, but now Hantak is back. He's going to go back under the hood.
This whole tuck thing has really confused everything. I mean, Dick Hantak is a confused official right now.
Yeah, very confused. Even if they did away with the tuck rule, he still might have overturned this because of the.
Reset the game clock to 13:56. 13 minutes and 56 seconds.
That's the reason he went back in, so they'll add 7 seconds. But even with an overturn of the tuck, the way he explained it, it was as if it was a forward pass attempt. Yeah. Is that the tuck rule?
The old tuck rule is the most famous rule in football now.
Yeah.
Is that the tuck rule? Yes, Coach, that was the tuck rule.
So the Niners get it back instead of the Eagles having a 1st and goal. It's 3rd down and 9 from the 16-yard line. And Garcia under pressure trying to shed Eagles, and he's able to hit J.J. Stokes, who stays in bounds but is a little short of the 1st down. So you're down by 21. Douglas is rolling around. He's writhing. And Garcia's limping. Jeff's going to be all right, but Douglas is still on the ground.
Here's Hugh Douglas, and you see what happens there. Number 82 is Eric Johnson, and he just grabs a hold of his face mask. And it looked like as he grabbed a hold of his face mask that he kind of jerked his head or neck down. We'll look and see what happened to Jeff Garcia. Now he's getting pressure up the middle. That's one of the things the Eagles thought they could do or wanted to do is pressure Jeff Garcia up the middle. He threw the ball, and he gets a late tackle there by Corey Simon.
So Garcia's up and moving around, but Douglas is still down, and it's 4th down when we come back. Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, Texas A&M and Texas have at it at noon Eastern, 9 in the morning Pacific. And then the second half of the doubleheader Friday, Colorado and Nebraska. Buffs Cornhuskers. Doubleheader Friday, Thanksgiving holiday weekend, right here on ABC. Hugh Douglas was assisted from the field. There he is. Right shoulder.
San Francisco is challenging the call on the field, that of the receiver being short of the line to gain.
Well, and then this comes at the end of the activity now before we can resume play. And what Mariucci is doing here is contending he got a 1st down. Otherwise, it's going to be 4th down and inches to go in a situation where they're going to probably have to go for it down by 3 scores. Take a look here. The line of scrimmage where they have to get it up to the 25-yard line. This will also be, even if he wins it, the final challenge for the 49ers.
Now, it looked like, again, it's where the ball is when he goes out of bounds. So it's not where his foot is or where his body is, but where the ball is when he first hits out of bounds. So the ball, you can see the ball here. When he goes down, the ball is over this line.
Right, over the 25. It was 3rd and 9 from the 16. The yellow line is unofficial, but it's close enough, and he appears to have it by plenty. And this will save the 49ers from having to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, and then it'll give them a whole new set of downs. I mean, so they can go for it, and then if they don't get it, then in essence that would be it. But if they get the first down, then they can play a different type of game. They don't have to waste a play going for it on 4th down also.
Mariucci using both of his challenges here early in the 4th quarter.
Andy Reid's quite a guy. I mean, he has a fiery calmness about him, if those are words you can use together.
Because he has, and he's exhibited it all week. As you can see, those are the guys with the best record.
The receiver had the ball
challenging
at the 25.5-yard line. Thus, he had a first down. San Francisco is not charged a timeout. However, San Francisco is out of challenges for the remainder of the game.
They're out of challenges. Of course, that means until there are 2 minutes remaining in the game, and then it comes upstairs. Melissa, what do you have?
Well, Al, you saw quarterback Jeff Garcia limp off the field just a few minutes ago. He twisted his right ankle, and the trainers taped it up. And Garcia being Garcia, he was good to go, came back in. He's certainly been durable throughout his career. This is his 48th consecutive start out.
Melissa's had so many injuries updates. She's taking Loretta Swit's role tonight.
Well, that was an advantage when Hugh Douglas got hurt. They were able to take Jeff Garcia up.
And give him the extra time.
And then they had the challenge, so they could have given him a half-hour of treatment right there.
1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. And Garcia going deep and a little too far for J.J. Stokes, who'd gotten behind Al Harris, with Dawkins coming in at the end.
You know, one of the things that Steve Mariucci was talking about is how Jeff Garcia can create. He said that's the best thing about him is he can create. He can get in the pocket. He can throw the ball. You can see there he's 21 for 29 in the pocket. And then he can also move. Now, outside of the pocket, when he scrambled tonight, he was only 3 for 11. Usually when he breaks the pocket, he's better than that.
Second down and 10 now from the 25-yard line. Keep it on the ground, give it to Hurst. Up past the 40, into Eagle territory, steps out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
You know, and they caught him on a blitz on that play. One thing, the Eagles are trying to get the ball back. The defense is starting to pressure. They brought their corner, Bobby Taylor, bring him on a blitz. Now the good thing about a blitz is you can throw him for a loss. The bad thing about a blitz is once you get through it, then you're into the secondary and you're going to get a big play. See, here's Bobby Taylor. He just runs right by it. Now once you get through that line, you're all the way to the free safety.
28-yard gain for Hurst. Garcia works out of the shotgun here. 4-man rush over the middle. Ball caught, 40-yard line. Gain of 7, Terrell Owens. No huddle. 11 grabs tonight for Owens.
I think they can't be wasting time here, and they can't be throwing short passes. I think that they have to try and get a quick score, like 2 passes for a touchdown.
That's deflected and incomplete. Batted away. 3rd down and 3 coming up.
And that's a tough thing for this offense to do, which is a timing offense, the short passer, but now you need a big pass. You need deep passes, and we talked about Darwin Walker and how well he was playing, and in the second half, kind of starting to take over things. I don't know if he got his hand up and hit that one or if that hit his left guard in the head.
Yeah, Darwin Walker was the eagle, but I think it hit his own man first. 3rd down and 3 from the 40-yard line. Eagles showing blitz again. They put it on the ground, give it to Hurst, and that takes care of that blitz and moves the chains. Tackled by Bishop. 1st down, 34.
It's the same thing. You know, Bobby Taylor, when he's coming on that blitz, you have to key the inside running lane, and if it is a run, you have to be able to come under control and make a play.
12-10 left in the 4th. Niners down by 3 touchdowns. Garcia throws underneath, intended for Hurst, and coming in to break that play up was Indy Kalu.
I'm thinking about Jim Johnson. You know, I mean, he gets a lead, and a lot of teams will go into prevent, and that time he was in a 3-man line, but before that, he's running blitzes. I mean, he's going after him, and you know, you think you get your head 38-17. You know, most defensive coordinators tend to get a little conservative, play a little soft. Not Jim Johnson. He brings 2 corner blitzes in a row.
49ers spread it out for wide receivers. 2nd down and 10 from the 35. Garcia throws underneath. That's caught there by Ty Streets. He gets it to the 31. 3rd down and 6 upcoming.
See, and the fans are booing, and that's one of the things, again, we get back to this West Coast offense, that short passing game, you know, timing and rhythm. It's tough to play when you're behind and you need quick scores. It's tough to get quick strikes.
Out of the shotgun for Garcia again. Look out, and coming in untouched was Sheldon Brown. The rookie from South Carolina comes in the dime set and knocks down Garcia.
And we're just talking about Jim Johnson and being aggressive, and there's no way that he's gonna protect any lead. He goes a dime, and you're gonna see him coming from the right side here. You see, here he is right here, and you just see doink, right there. There's no way that Jeff Garcia sees or feels it.
First sack of Sheldon Brown's career.
Well, Sheldon Brown was coming on that side. Now, it's Jeff Garcia's onside, but when you turn left to throw left, that becomes your backside.
Now it's 4th and 15, and the Niners have to go for it, down by 21. Airing it out is Garcia. All kinds of contact in the end zone with Terrell Owens and Al Harris, but nothing down, no flag.
And again, they went for an all-out blitz on that one. This Eagle defense will start after you at the beginning of the game and go after you the whole game.
Eagles get it back on downs. Harvey guests on a new My Wife and Kids, and Cheech Marin guests on a new George Lopez. That's Wednesday right here on ABC. So A.J. Feely, the Eagle quarterback, at the 39-yard line, and they can start to play a little bit of clock ball right now with a 3-touchdown lead, and Deuce Staley up to the 46. Melissa.
Well, Al, we have an update on Eagles quarterback Koy Detmer, who was carted off the field in the 3rd quarter with that dislocated left elbow. He's in the locker room right now, and the trainers put his elbow back in place, so certainly relieves a lot of the pain, but he's still out for the rest of the game. And defensive end Hugh Douglas, who's without question the emotional leader of this team and has 7 sacks so far this season, suffered a stinger in his right shoulder. The trainers massaged it. He is expected to return. And Al, I'm wondering when I'm going to get my first aid badge.
Yeah, right, I'm telling you. Well, we hope that's the last injury report of the night. We've had enough. 2nd and 3. And this is Staley across the 50 to the 49-yard line for a 1st down. So the Eagles, with a win tonight, go to 8-3. And when you look at the rest of their schedule, there's only 1 game remaining against a team with a winning record. At the bottom, at the Giants in Week 17. Rams home next week, then they come out to Seattle. Skins at home, and then they end the season at Dallas and at the Meadowlands. And they would be the 2nd seed as of the moment, and let's say they wind up tied with Tampa Bay, they would win that tiebreaker because they've already beaten the Buccaneers this year. Staley, loss of 2, back to the 49.
You know, to get a 1st down, you always need a little help from your center. Watch Hank Fraley right here. This is on the play before. He almost has a 1st down. He almost has a 1st down. You just get on the pile and fall down. I think when Hank Fraley falls down, I think all piles go forward.
Yes.
I think you over Deuce Staley said, "Can you believe that? A 320-pound center? Who has a 320-pound center?"
Lifts all boats. Piles go forward. 2nd and 12 from the 49. Deuce Staley. And there is Koy Detmer. Elbow put back in place in the locker room. And back out saying, "I'm all right."
I don't know if he's all right. He's a lot better than when it was out of place, is what he has to be thinking. But I'm not sure what they do for a dislocation. I guess you just put it back in, and then how long does it take before it heals?
Good question. I mean, well, you keep hearing stories about guys, dislocating fingers, and they pull it out, and they're back in the game and all that. I think an elbow, at least for Detmer, there's good news. It's the non-throwing elbow. Here's Staley. And for what it's worth, you would think he could come back a lot quicker, obviously, than if it had been the right elbow.
Yeah, and if all it is getting it back in place and letting it calm down, then no, I'm not even going to guess. I was going to say how long it could be, but I'm not even going to do that. We got old Fraley now, Heenan to Feely. That's a combination. Who would have thought a few years ago Fraley would be snapping to Feely.
And then this thing, look at that.
And the Eagles will be beating the 49ers 38-17 in San Francisco.
Yeah. Here's Landell. Fielded 15-yard line, and Williams is met by nothing but white shirts. 7.5 left in the fourth. The Eagles 7.5 minutes away from going to 8-3. BC tomorrow. Look who's showing up on Life with Bonnie. It's Tom Hanks guesting on Life with Bonnie, and then The Bachelor guest stars on Less Than Perfect right here on ABC Mañana. 7:27 left in the fourth. 49ers begin this drive from their 15-yard line. Garcia stepping up, throwing on the run, and off the fingertips of Owens, who's made 11 catches tonight and had a couple of drops.
He started off tonight with a drop, and then this one's a drop, but in between he's really played pretty well. I mean, he's caught everything. And again, it's, you get down like this and you just can't get the ball to him enough. I mean, you can't throw a wide receiver 30 passes in a game. I mean, a running back, you can get him 25, 30 touches. A wide receiver, you can't get him. You can get him maybe 10 or 12 touches.
Over 1,000 yards for the season for Owens. As that pass is caught, Hurst takes it up to the 20-yard line. 3rd down and 5 coming up.
There's not a lot of offenses that that are come from behind type offenses, but again, this 49er offense sure isn't.
Garcia throws, caught over the middle. Owens, a dozen catches tonight, swings to the outside. Terrell Owens steps out of bounds up at the 46-yard line.
I was talking to Terrell Owens the other day, and he told me that he's improved his fast twitch fibers. And I'm not sure exactly what the heck that means, but you must have, that's what it looks like. I don't know what it means, but if you have fast twitch fibers, then you start to look like this. But I think on that play, we just saw a fast twitch fiber.
Where do we buy these things?
No, you don't. You rent them. You can rent them or lease them. You can't buy them.
1st and 10. Garcia drops it. And then he gets dropped at the 40-yard line. Gift sack for Corey Simon.
And we talk about, I mean, Hank Fraley, the old 320-pound jiggler. Now, we compared the bodies in the pregame warm-up. One's a wide receiver and one's a center. One doesn't jiggle at all, and one continues to jiggle when he stops.
Maybe it's working out at night. That's what Owens likes to do. 2nd and 16. That's caught at the 49 by J.J. Stokes. Steve Mariucci saying last night that, you know, you'll come into the weight room at 9 o'clock at night. The lights are on. There's one guy in there, Owens.
One guy in there, the music's blasting, and if there's anyone else in there, it's the janitors cleaning up.
3rd down and 7. Scott Gregg moved.
False start, offense number 78, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
You know, we talk about Terrell Owens and his run after the catch. He has 12 receptions for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns, and his run after the catch or rack is 63 yards, and that's not an awful lot. And I'll say this because this Eagle defense has tackled and played very well.
They were expected to step up. They have done just that. And that pass is incomplete. Owens and Al Harris making each other's acquaintance.
You know, Jim Johnson was saying last night that when you play this West Coast offense, and of course he gets to see it all the time because that's what the Eagles use too. He said you have to throw off the timing. He said that's the key. He said you can't let them ever get in any kind of rhythm. And I'll say this Eagle defense has really thrown off the timing in this 49er offense the entire game.
4th down and 12. They've shut down the running game. Owens has had his moments, and apart from that, nothing. And, well, is Hugh Douglas okay? Yeah, I guess.
I thought there's no way they'd bring Hugh Douglas back in. You think, well, you don't need him. But as Melissa was saying, he's not only a leader on the football field, but he's a leader off the field and a very emotional player, Hugh Douglas.
Eagles get the ball back.
For some football!
Next week, across the bay, we go to Oakland. Jets, Raiders, 2 hot teams. Jets have won 4 straight, Raiders 3 straight, and then the Bucs and the Saints meet in New Orleans on the ESPN Sunday night matchup.
You know, I remember back years and years ago a great Raider-Jet game. It was Darryl LaMonica was throwing for us for the Raiders and Joe Namath. Neither team could stop each other and just went up and down the field throwing the ball.
Well, Jets Raiders, when you think about that, one name comes to mind, Heidi.
Yeah, and the other name that comes to mind is Joe Namath, who beat us in the championship game to go to the Super Bowl to beat the Baltimore Colts. And, of course, that was the first win for the old AFL.
Well, remember last year the Jets beat them on John Hall's field goal at the end of the season, and they had to come back out the next week, and the Raiders took them in the wild card game. And then Herman Edwards has done a phenomenal job. I mean, that team looked like they were about ready to be buried a few weeks ago. Well, and here they are right back in the race.
I think the young quarterback, Chad Pennington, is coming around now. You know, I mean, he's just getting comfortable. They're getting comfortable with him. And, you know, and I've always said the best friend of a quarterback is a good running back. And, you know, Curtis Martin, I mean, that's a pretty good example.
Numbers for next week. Coming up, Martin's healthy again. Jets come off their win against the Bills yesterday. 2nd down and 8 here from the 31, Staley. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, we don't know how long Detmer's going to be out. We know McNabb's going to be out for a few more weeks anyway. You've got Feely. They're going to have to bring in a quarterback next week. They've already brought in Tim Hasselbeck. He's on the practice squad, meaning he can't play tonight. So he would figure to be active next week if Detmer can't. And of course, you know, among other things, another Troy Aikman rumor will start this week as well. What else is new? Hello, Troy.
Yeah, it may not be this week. It may be tonight. If we calling Troy or talking about calling Troy, or someone will say they called Troy. Talking about that, though, John Runyon just made a heck of a block on that last play. He's a guy that is a very solid player and a tough guy and it's one of those guys, if you were going to pick a whole bunch of guys to go do something you didn't know what was going to be done, you would kind of take John Runyon with you.
Former Titan who's had his battles with Michael Strahan in the Giants-Eagles series. Now they're going to run this end around again with Thrash. And he gets tackled at the 31. The Niners had taken a timeout on the play before to do so again here to stop the clock. And we check in with Melissa once more.
Well, Alan, this is something that you and John will get a kick out of. When most kids who grow up playing football dream of one day playing in the NFL, not Dana Stubblefield. He dreamt of becoming a garbage man. He had no desire to go to college, but when he was heavily recruited by Kansas, his high school coach sat him down, made him go. Why the aversion? Because as a kid, he would go to Bengals practices, and he said, no way would I ever want to put that kind of stress on my body. But a garbage man? And he said, well, I figured, hey, I could furnish my entire apartment for free with the things people throw away.
That's the way. If you've been playing in the pits for a long time,
right.
You've been playing in nose tackle. In nose tackle, you get the center hits you, the guard hits you, and then they wham block you, and they trap you, and they do all those things to you. Those thoughts creep in between your ears.
They do?
Yeah. You take a lot of hits on top of that helmet, and thoughts like that creep in between.
Landetta's punt down to the 4-yard line.
You know, as you go across the bridge, when I was a kid, I grew up here, I always wanted to be one of those toll takers on the bridge. I thought that would be a great job.
Well, Stubblefield, well, that would have been another way to get into the world of trash talking, I suppose.
Right, and you always, as he said, you always have something to furnish your house with. You always have something to eat.
The Niners out of timeouts. They're also going to sit Garcia down. There is the Bay Bridge spanning San Francisco Bay, and to the other side of the bay we go next week for the Raiders and the Jets as Tim Rattay comes in to finish out the game. Starts with a deflected pass. Rattay, third-year man out of Louisiana Tech, 7th-round choice of the Niners back in 2000, and they're back up to Garcia.
And you know, the backup quarterback in practice never gets any reps. We were talking to Coy Detmer about that last night and asked him how many reps normally he would get with the first unit. He said none. And it's the same thing with the 49ers. So anytime you can get your backup into a game. Now, you don't like to get in this situation, but getting your backup into a game isn't a bad thing.
2nd and 10 from the 5. They're going to give the ball to Cole Smith as they're going to rest Hurst for the balance of the game with 4.5 minutes to play.
Yeah, I think there's sometimes that you just have to say, okay, that's it. Now, if the 49ers lose tonight, that's going to be 2 in a row, and even though they're in pretty good position in their division, they still have to get things turned around.
Well, the Rams must be sitting there tonight just whacking themselves upside the head. I mean, had they won yesterday and then this happened tonight, the Rams would have been a game behind. But instead, they're 2 back as you look at the division leaders. Bucks, #1 seed as of the moment. Pack 8-3. Eagles will be 8-3 after this, and the Niners at 7-4. As you look at the conference record, you can see 7-0, and that is one of the tiebreakers after you go through head-to-head and intra-division play. If 2 teams wind up with the same record in the division, that becomes very significant. And as we mentioned before, with the season to end tonight, that would give the Eagles the 2nd seed, make Green Bay 3. Rattay throws, that's caught by Stokes. And in terms of finishing up their season, the Bucks, big game at the Saints, and another big one with the Falcons, and then that Monday night game with the Steelers. Packers play, among other teams, the 49ers here. And the Eagles, as we said before, only one team over 500 on their schedule the rest of the way, the Giants in the last game. Niners stay home, meet the Seahawks here next week, and what all of a sudden becomes a very important game for them. Smith to the 25.
Well, I always thought that you played until Thanksgiving, until this next weekend to get yourself in position to make a run, and then from next weekend on is when you make your run. And the team that is in best position to make a good run and plays well at the end of the season is usually the team that goes the deepest in the playoffs. So the 49ers, I mean, even though they're almost a cinch to be in the playoffs, they still have to get this thing turned around.
4th and 3 from the 25. Owens, and he's able to keep the ball in the 49ers' hands as Owens makes catch number 13.
Well, there's two things really impressed me about this Eagle defense is how aggressive they've been throughout the entire game, and they've kept their intensity up and their tackling up. I mean, nothing about this defense has gone soft tonight. I mean, they came in here, and I know that they were thinking, okay, Donovan McNabb's not here. You know, they think we're just a one-man team, but we have something to show. And I think that the 49ers, instead of saying we have to show something too, I think they just felt we have something to look at.
Tay throwing a changeup. 2nd and 10. The first catch of the night for Cedric Wilson up to the 41-yard line. Under 3 minutes to play. Well, this torturous week for Andy Reid is going to end with a victory. And John, I guess it's a two-headed winner tonight. What do you think?
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, if you're going to put someone on the trailer, we know who one of those guys. Well, we know who two of those guys. I think there's two guys that have to go on it tonight, don't you?
There's one.
Yeah, I mean, he has to. I mean, the job that he had to do, the pressure that he was under, and
there's the other, Brian Mitchell.
He's a big play. I mean, look at that. Look at those returns.
Two big plays. He ran the punt back for the touchdown, and then when the Niners looked like they were getting back in the game, he ran the kickoff back into 49er territory to quiet the crowd again and take the wind away from the 49ers.
You know, and that's always a momentum changer. You know that you. When someone's getting momentum, you have to take it away. One of the best areas and biggest areas to take it away is in special teams.
Koy Detmer, Brian Mitchell on the horse trailer. And the Eagles riding that horse all the way to the finish line. Up by 21. Intel.
That was the other thing I always wanted to do as a kid. Be one of those cable car guys that turned it around. You know, it comes down to the bottom of the hill, going one way, and then you turn it around, going the other way. I always thought that was a cool job.
Yeah, and you get the mic, and you get to, to talk about the great sights.
Yeah, those guys. And then you got the guy that rings the bell.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to be one of the guys that turned it.
Get it going in the other direction?
Right.
Bust right across the bit. There you go. There's a promo.
Yep.
8-legged turkey.
Yep. Well, that's what I'll be eating it this year. I won't be at a game. I'll just be home watching the games.
2nd and 3 from the 37-yard line. Streets makes the catch from Rattay. Takes it down to the 22-yard line. There you go.
Yeah. That's the thing there. See, that's the guy. That's kind of the head guy. I mean, he's the guy that kind of steers it, then rings the bell and does all that stuff.
Pilot. 14-yard line, caught by Thomas Streets. It's still the best way to get around certain parts of town. There's no question.
Yeah, and
cable car. Especially when you start walking off power.
You can see everyone can see you.
And Rattay gets sacked back at the 19-yard line.
You know, this is one of the things I've never understood in football, why, you're down like this, 38-17. There's no way you have a chance to win. It's not quitting if you just run the clock out. I mean, say, they're calling dogs, put out the fire, the hunt's over.
3rd and 7, Rattay throws. That's incomplete.
All I think this does is risk injury. And they're so concerned about injury and protecting players and stuff. Why prolong when you already know the outcome? I mean, I can see fighting and competing and doing all those things, but there comes a point where that gets over.
And this one's over.
Right.
NFL.com. Log on. So the Eagles in their third Monday night appearance of the season, and they love playing under the lights. They'll be 3-0. They knocked off Washington. They knocked off the Giants. And now here is the pass for Jordan is incomplete. There's a marker.
And they've had a lot of adversity, and again, I go back to the coaching staff and the job that they've done. I mean, that you just talk to them.
Offense number
18.
On number 18, that penalty is declined. First down, Philadelphia.
I mean, you lose Donovan McNabb, your best player, and everyone says, he's a one-man gang and all those things, and you bring your team in here, and you lost to this team a year ago with Donovan McNabb, and there was a certain calmness about this team with a lot of confidence. And didn't you feel that Andy Reid last night was very, very confident?
Very. And, he had, as I said, a torturous week. You lose your quarterback. Then he gets, ripped in a lot of papers. And everybody gets up on the soapbox about how do you let a quarterback play? How do you let any player play without getting x-rayed? And Andy said they don't even know what they're talking about. So you had to go through all of that, even though, we can't dismiss what was written. I mean, it was pretty amazing that they didn't x-ray him. But he gets through that. He goes home with a win. And speaking of Detmer coming in for McNabb, Melissa's going to talk to him after the game. So he's going to come to the center of the field. Andy Reid was confident. And he must have known something that none of the rest of us could have known.
Well, even Coy Detmer was confident. But, and then everyone would say, well, he's a little different. So you don't know, is this confident or is this guy that's just a little different like this?
Well, for Owens, a big night on the stat sheet, but another loss for the 49ers. 2 in a row, 13 catches for 166. But the Eagles are dominant, 38-17 in San Francisco.